Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PACAF Esports Championship. This is the Rocket League broadcast, not like COD, all those losers over there on the other broadcast. No, it is myself, Data Taco, and Pyro J. No hate to COD, by the way. But this is, yes, part of the Air Force Gaming second year of running this one, but the first time that Rocket League has been featured as one of the esports.
You gotta get Rocket League in there. You gotta show off the car soccer, everyone around the world playing this game, and we have such worldly representation here with the PACAF squad, so I'm so glad that we get 4 exciting regions to compete to get an ultimate champion come in 4 days' time.
Absolutely. And so bringing you all this action, we got to kind of give a little bit of some background. So this event is actually going down live over there in Japan. So we do have a lot of this from the enlisted club at the Yokota Air Force Base in Tokyo. So I love to see that all these players are gathered together, but we have multiple regions participating within this tournament. So they've had all these kind of sub-region qualifiers, but it breaks down into Alaska, Japan, Korea, and also the Pacific Islands, which is Hawaii and Guam. So we got the best of the best here, Pyro, trying to compete in this, try to see who's actually going to be running the Air Force out here in the Pacific theater, and try to see really who's going to be able to show up the best, because honestly, we have a lot of bios to these players, a lot of gaming experience, a lot of backgrounds, and it's good to see that we're finally getting them all in one place to kind of duke it out.
Yeah, I wonder if Japan kind of has that home court advantage here. As you said, it's at that Yokota Air Base, and we've got the 374th Force Support Squadron, as well as Yokota Esports, helping run this whole program. So awesome to get that support, and awesome to get all those hands on deck to make this incredible tournament happen. And yeah, maybe Japan's my early guess for having that home territory, but who knows? I'm sure they're all used to traveling around and excited to compete in the same area.
Yes, in the same area is important, because as we talk about things, we will try and bring up dates and times, but there are so many time zones in all these different subregions that it's going to get a little rough. We're across the international date line. In fact, Pacific Islands, they have Hawaii and Guam. Those are on opposite sides of the international date line. So even there, it gets a little complicated. But regardless, it won't be complicated as we take a look at the schedule for this event, what we are going to be covering for everything. As we take a look at our 25th and 26th, granted, this is also Japan time. So we are looking at Team Japan and Team Korea up first as our matchup, and then afterwards Team Japan, Team Pacific Islands going to be rocking on the stream, and then we're going to finish out Pyro with Korea and Pacific Islands. But of course, all these teams are playing each other in a round robin across day 1 and day 2, all best of 7.
And these are important to know that this is for seeding for that playoff tournament, right? If you get more wins in these round robin events, you get a better chance at having an easier bye into that finals, into that chance to rep this region at that DAF World Championship. As you can see, we got our rosters for our first matchup ready to go, though, for Team Japan and Team Korea. It's going to be a very exciting first face-off.
Yes, and so when we do have all these situations coming down and all these teams coming together, yeah, we do also have all the players represented. Oh, man, I love it when we actually get the poses, we get the little introduction, little bit of personality for Ballsy, Dead Prez, and Flex on Team Japan, and being able to see really what they have to offer, since, as we mentioned, like, yeah, this is for regional pride. I mean, do you think the guys in the military are not competitive and being able to show that off in all these video games? I mean, this is a great thing. I love it when the Air Force, I mean, Navy, I know as well, is starting to get into this. It's starting to hold these events, try to bring together the community while also, you know, get some friendly rivalry depending on where you're stationed.
Exactly, and we know it was as well that you don't have to be at the same base either to be on the same team. You just have to be part of that region. So whether it's Team Korea or Team Japan, these could be players that know each other from their same base, or they could be putting together just the best Rocket League players that exist in those bases across those regions. So Japan and Korea, both of these regions representing, look like they're ready to go. Again, Taco, with maybe some of the best player introduction videos that we've seen. I mean, that's RLCS caliber right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because like we've both been doing this so long that it's like, oh, we're used to like esports where you do the cross fold, but it's mostly just like, you know, kids that are just like playing in the living room, and then I forget like, oh, this is like all Air Force, like they're all in great shape. I'm just like, man, these like for esports players, these guys are like really in shape. And I'm like, well, wait, yeah, of course they would be. So I don't know why my brain's like adjusting from that. You know, you got to get used to it whenever we do have the military esports events pop up here. And honestly, what an event it is to be able to have this. I mean, we have a lot of online events. So the fact that not only is this a LAN, but like kind of like the international LAN, bringing everyone together. Love to see that. Player head-to-head match.
Yeah, it's awesome. It looks like the players, they're geared up, ready to go. It's as well the case of, we talk about, yeah, oh, these are players playing from their own room or from their own setup. No, we get the players together on land to communicate with each other, to have that chemistry. If you score a goal, you get the fist bumps, you get loud. If you get scored on, you share your team. It's okay, we got this. And I'm sure the camaraderie, right, that shared vision is a very important part of what makes the Air Force who they are. And so I'm sure that will translate in this in-person Rocket League tournament that we have here.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, we mentioned this is also a friendly rivalry aspect as well. I mean, nothing beats being able to, yeah, you score a goal and fist bump, but also just looking right across the setup and be like on your head after you dunk someone. Just something like that, because you need to be able to get into your mind. It's both a battle of mechanics as well as, you know, a little bit of psychological warfare. But, you know, I'm sure these players are just ready to, you know, get out of the base, maybe get a little bit of vacation here and get to game. I mean, you can see the smiles all laughing at each other as they're prepping to get ready. Maybe a little chirping. We're not sure. We don't have access to the mics, at least for the players. Maybe that's for the best.
Well, yeah, they're getting excited about something, you can definitely tell. So you love to see the jovial attitude here, you know, all smiles across. Something we talk about a lot in Rocket League is actually chemistry, and even just vibes is actually a very important asset to a team. It allows you to shake off mistakes and not have you haunt that through the rest of the game, or just make those communications a lot easier, right? When we get to the pitch, when we see the cars on the field, you're gonna notice the passing plays, you're gonna notice the demolitions. All these things are called out between teammates. Or if you're a team later like Team Alaska, they say that they whiff a lot, but it tends to work out. Hey, whatever the strategy is, if you can communicate that effectively, it's gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, and there is such a thing as tactical whiffing. Personally, that is the way I say it, because sometimes the best strategy on a pass is just to hit it middle, and then when the other player goes for it, they're like, I'm just not going to touch this. I'm going to get close, but I'm just going to leave it. And, you know, if you're doing that on purpose or not, I won't know, and I will try not to call it out. But I think we'll have to see kind of what that goes in. Because actually, the things I'm most interested about is seeing how many hours players put into Rocket League. We recently had that argument on social media of like, what is the most mechanically difficult sport? Rocket League is typically up there in this. So curious to see like really the experience. We have one player, I believe, on Team Japan, that has 3,000 hours in Rocket League, which is a decent amount of investment in a game like this. So I'd have to say, you know, Dead Prez player to look out for, at least in our first match on stream.
Yeah, we got a lot of information from players, not only in their hours of the game, but just them as a gamer, right? Did they pick it up over the last few years? Or a lot of them are like, okay, no more than 10 years. Dead Prez says no, 20 years of gaming. Okay, they know their way around the controller, and especially in Rocket League. Between Taco and I, we have plenty of thousands of hours ourselves. And we know very well that Rocket League is one of those games where you gain a certain level of respect for every 1,000 chunk that you put in. It's such a fine-tuned, precise game that you have to try to master. And so I agree, Taco. Dead Prez is going to be one of those certified gamers that I'll have my eye on.
Yeah, but at the same time, we also have a couple players mentioning kind of the background of gaming and really what got them into stuff. And honestly, it's just funny to see how quickly things accelerate, because we have a couple players on our bio sheets as we had players kind of give a little bit of background about themselves. And they said, hey, I got super hyped because I used to watch MLG back in the day. I used to watch Halo professional sports, be able to watch those on stream. And then now we're getting so niche that it's not even like professionals only. We have specifically station members for the Air Force playing in one base on land in Tokyo. Like, that's crazy to even think about. But honestly, the only thing that could be crazier is actually seeing the gameplay on display. And based on the engines I hear in my earmuffs, I very much do feel like we have everybody ready for Team Japan and Korea. Again, best of 7 to open up here group play on day 1 of the PACAF Esports Championship.
You can see it there on your screen, but just in case you need to hear Team Japan on that red side, Korea in yellow. So you can see that on the scoreboard at the top as well. 5 minutes on the timer. Best of 7 means first to 4 wins is going to get their first round robin stage victory. And look at that, Taco. 30 seconds down, no scoring. We're just kind of getting underway here.
I've already seen a lot of aggressive challenges, so clearly they're not being timid at all, which is exactly the thing I like to see when, players of myriad skill. And honestly, a decent amount of good flicks here. That's Dead Prez, player we said keep an eye on, but solid challenge coming through from Babs as everybody on the wall getting a little discombobulated, and yet that will still bounce at least somewhat on target, if not for a first to last. Honestly, aerial capability, Pyro, is the main thing. I feel like that's going to hold some teams back, and apparently they're hitting their aerials just fine.
And you mentioned it, these aggressive challenges, it's kind of forcing the ball to take these elevated positions, and Babs is going to be no stranger to that on the aerial save, refusing that goal out of Team Korea on their first registered shot. And the defense is coming up in big ways, but will it deny Dead Prez? Gets the shot a little too high, stay knotted at zeros.
So Ballsy going to be taking that one across, and even on a nice little setup to undercook, that one's going to be just a little wide. You can hear the ping go off, but Dead Prez not too concerned about it, slowing things down, taking a good 50, and Ballsy living up to that name, going right for an aerial, doesn't quite have the angle. How about the putback, though? Another good save, and I gotta say, the lockdown defense on the goal line, only really reason why this is not a 1-0 scoreline.
Oh, I thought that would be the 1-0. It's not. Ballsy, even on the rebound, is saved. And Undercooked Egg says, well, I'll just keep this in play. What you have to keep in mind with these teams is they went through their own qualifiers as a part of their region to represent, whether it's Team Japan or Team Korea. So what's clear is defense was a huge reason we've got both of these squads here today.
And Team Japan, I mean, they're really just trying to pour it on as much as possible, and you can tell that getting through the qualifiers, I mean, yes, this is the best of the best, and they're trying to represent the best of the PACAF region. Again, as we mentioned, DAF Esports kind of World Championship coming up in a little bit later in the summer, so that's something that I'm sure players would love to be a part of, being able to travel around and hang around with the players, especially now that we've seen, the camaraderie between them, all joking around, clearly, not complete strangers, had to team up, find the best possible roster, and go from there. And my goodness, just going from here to there in terms of defense to offense is quite the struggle for Korea, but they're still holding tight as we cross halftime, and maybe our final opening. Ballsy has a chance, overcooks it, but the putback is there from Dead Prez.
And if you're first to last on this position, you can't think of a more nightmarish position to be in. No boost, tracking the ball, ends up backflipping, because even if you pull off the perfect double jump, you may just not get there. The pressure got to him. Finally, Team Japan get one on the board.
And that first goal might be able to open a bit of a watershed moment for them, as, typically then the defense goes from, okay, we're just trying to survive, to, okay, we really need to get this back. So let's see how risk-taking they're willing to be. But for the most part, it seems like everything in order. In fact, they actually might have a chance here. Striking Dunn thought about trying to go for this one, but nothing going to happen. Another one just going to ricochet back across, and everyone will reset.
And that looked like a good chance to sprout a counterattack for Team Korea. That is the one part of their gameplay that I'm focused on. With all the defense that they play, maybe they can catch Team Japan pulling too many resources on offense. First or last gets a good counter against what otherwise would have been a shot from Team Japan. Striking Dawn tracks that ball down for the clear.
And decent contact as well, but they're all backed up, and someone's got to get in the backboard. It's going to have to be Babs, or rather was going to have to be them, if not for Ballsy hitting that one over. A little bit of commotion on that near side, and yet clear still starting to come through. In fact, really classy dribble from Babs, setting up a 50, first or last. Going to send that one to the corner again, but they just can't quite generate that power, and often comes from that lack of boost.
Well, the boost situation is going to get a little worse for Team Korea, because that's a great boost steal that Team Japan come away with. You got to target those quarters, because that's going to be the resource that keeps the defense alive for Team Korea, who breaks down with a goal from Ballsy.
And nice little setup there by Dead Prez. Doesn't even have to get it necessarily on target, just near that side. And I think right now we're seeing Team Japan settle into that play style of understanding. They might feel a little more comfortable in the air. Keep throwing it off that backboard, see how they handle it. And if they don't, then get ready for the putback. Ballsy certainly trying to be that player and try to do that again, if not for Babs. Getting that first read, but not the second. Dead Prez going to call that bluff.
20 seconds isn't a lot of time, but it is enough in Rocket League. You just need one big play. Striking Dawn is going to relieve themselves from it and look for a teammate to get the clear. But Team Japan will not stop hounding them at their own goal line. Dead Prez, the even 50 against Babs, and one last chance to score another. It will stay on the ground. At the end of it, Team Japan take game 1.
And it's a nice victory from them. Particularly, they felt like they locked in really cleanly. Especially, you can see that with the shot differential, 13-1 favoring Team Japan. And really, that's what happens when you see this. You see some tournament winners. We see a silver from Baz. We see a diamond from first to last. But a Grand Champ tag with Dead Prez already at top 2% of all players. Clear right there. And, got to lead by example, and certainly was leading a lot of those attacks.
Yeah, 1 for 5 and even 1 for 3 from Ballsy. You see that second goal that they scored there. It's about weathering down Team Korea. Listen, some games are about precision, right? You'll get few chances or opportunities, and when you do, you've got to score them. But for Team Japan, I mean, they're getting a second rebound, a third rebound at this point. Focus on taking the resources of the boost, get those rebounds, crash the boards, and you'll come away with more points.
Yeah, when it comes to the side of Team Korea, I think right now just trying to lock down the defense is most important. Problem is it can be so difficult when it keeps lobbing up and over. We talked about the boost. That is the all-important resource you got to keep in the back pocket. Yes, you got to get on these reads. You got to bump out these players, but ultimately it doesn't matter what your positioning like is unless you can get to it quickly. And that was actually pretty quick to it by Striking Dawn. Unfortunately, that was the first deflection. No real shot, so they'll try again, albeit just straight to the ceiling.
And again, this is why I talk about the counterattack for Team Korea, like that infield pass to Striking Dawn to get some serious power behind that shot. That, to me, is going to be one of their best abilities to get points on the board. For them to already equalize the amount of shots that they had in the last game, looks good to me. They've even got a possession to work with here. Babs gets the quarter pass out, but I think Ballsy saw that one coming.
I do actually like that from Babs. In fact, they have a silver tournament winner, but they look a little bit more organized than that, or either that, or silver's got way better since the last time I checked. That's a deflection. That's right on target by first or last.
First or last says, I dare you, please try to clear this ball, Uncooked Egg, because I'm going to make it your misery. What a read on the clear to knock that one home.
And Undercooked just trying to get it away, but that's sometimes why when you're trailing the ball right down the middle, it's better off just to kind of leave it, because it's one thing to get dunked, it's another thing to have that deflection go straight on in. Excellent challenge though by first to last. Did not panic, just trust in the read, and now they got to get it again on defense, making that save. Babs, last back. How about nobody back? Demo in the corner, and that's our equalizer.
That felt like it was less of a normal Rocket League goal and more for revenge, right? Ballsy said, you dare dunk my teammate, Undercooked Egg? Well, I'm going to let them score off of no defense. A demon-like demo to set up the tie game.
Now off kickoff might even go from bad to worse. However, Babs taking the risky chance, hitting it off the near side. Follow putback from Undercooked Egg. Not going to go through. They've actually been playing with a little bit of the quick chats. This is Rocket League. It was tagged in by Undercooked Egg after they scored their goal. So maybe that's chirping. Maybe they're just having a little goofy fun. Either way, not going to be fun if this one goes over him. He's going to get bumped on the landing, and yet still Undercooked Egg getting that save away to the sideline.
You mentioned it, so I have to talk about it. We saw that quick chat from many of the players. They have some of the new quick chats that were updated nearly a week or two ago in the game. So these aren't just, oh, I picked up the game of Rocket League gamers. No, the Air Force is outfitted with some serious grinders, as you can tell from the gameplay, but also from the quick chats.
The aerials are clean, and honestly, a lot of it is pretty confident as well. These are not the most straightforward approaches that they need to have, and they need to have some saves like this as Babs maybe getting a little bit off on the depth perception, doesn't realize that's coming as quickly as it is, and there's a lead for Team Japan.
Gotta credit this duo as well of Undercooked Egg and Ballsy. We talked so much about how communication is important in the game of Rocket League, and you've got that passing play. On the previous goal, you have the demolition combined with the shot. This team of Team Japan is in tune with each other, and so much so that Undercooked Egg is gonna put away another.
Yeah, that's 3 unanswered from Team Japan. It's so tough. Babs, you can even see exactly what they're trying to do there, trailing the ball, but right as that ball hits that meeting area, that between the back, where the backboard becomes the sidewall, it's a little curve. It can produce a weird bounce, sometimes just a little bit off the wall, and therefore you can miss your catch. Rough mistake, but it happens. Rocket League very much a game of pixels, and Team Japan is dominating those pixels down the stretch here. Looking great and looking to take their 2nd straight game win, especially if they get some stat pads. Horrible bounce, unfortunately, so no second goal, or rather hat trick coming through from Undercooked Egg yet.
Striking Dawn's got to be careful. They were almost caught out in a boost over ball situation, but that boost might just help them on this turnaround. Babs takes a shot straight to the net, and Striking Dawn will have to actually rotate out and back to defense with that boost that we discussed. Babs on the backboard, first to last there as well, but nobody can get the touch necessary. Nobody can stop Undercooked Egg.
Yeah, that's just a poacher goal too, realizing, hey, this might not be able to be reached because they're coming from the backboard. It can be a little tough. We have a little bit of the ellipses, quick chat, drop it in the top left. Honestly, huge fan of that one. It's perfectly. I think the one thing that makes me laugh the most about the new quick chats is that back in the day, there was like a debate of like, what quick chat can you add that isn't passive aggressive or can be taken in that way? And instead, this time they're like, what if we just added all of the ones that can be passive aggressive and see what happens?
Yeah, punctuation being the most prominent feature of a passive-aggressive remark. So why not just punctuation? You gotta love it. 3 dots in that chat, but 4 unanswered goals right now for Team Japan. They seem to be steamrolling through this one, but maybe the antidote is here from Babs the Boon. Touch off the backboard, it nearly sets up for a second chance, but Striking Dawn instead going to be the player to pass upfield. That could have been a great link up with first or last, but just couldn't get in the line of the shot.
And Team Korea, I think, really just playing off of that counterattack gameplay is pretty quality. I mean, their approaches aren't really bad. I think the issue is that there's just this tiny latency between seeing the read and going for it, where they're not quite as confident as you can see Team Japan is. And because of that, Team Japan getting on everything, knocking it away. It's not always exactly according to plan, but it's never really going awry. Granted, doesn't mean they don't miss the occasional read. That one is a little awkward out of the backfield, which means Babs will hit it back forward, and yet Undercooked Egg is going to serve it right back.
And that's going to be right in the hands of Ballsy. Up top, next is down low. On the follow from Dead Prez, put it bar down for the 5th.
That's even a reset I see from Ballsy. So clearly this is not, players that, again, that you say are playing casually. Like, they're going for those mechs, starting to put the score in the top left. I mean, this is just really ridiculous. I don't know, maybe there was a history here. Maybe Korea came in saying, well, I don't know. I mean, I know you guys, but I don't know how close this is going to be. And then suddenly, bang, just comes into the 5-1. Certainly Undercooked Egg wants them to know.
Oh, there it is. Striking Dawn has been the player that's taken more of a defensive approach in this game, but they're also the player that you don't want to see given a chance like that. Maybe there was a little bit of talk before this match, but Striking Dawn doing a little less of the talking, doing a little more of the walking.
So we will be able to see that goal come through, get a little bit of revenge. I think it'll mostly just be for morale, Pyro, because fortunately it's going to be pretty tough to get out of their corner, especially with only 10 seconds. It started promising, and it probably ended at least a little bit more encouragingly, but it is very much a Team Japan win here in Game 2, halfway to getting the sweep.
Well, this is that game for Team Korea where you actually feel like it is a morale boost. Yeah, 5 conceded isn't the greatest result, but getting points on the board was the most important takeaway from this game. We saw life in those counterattack setups that you said just had a little bit of latency, but those are link-ups that we could see actually occur in these future games. And to be the first ones to score, to be the last ones to score, it gives a little bit of that momentum to your team moving forward.
Yes, and being able to actually put that together and get goals, I think honestly is just partly just being able to actually encourage yourself and say, okay, so it is possible for us to score. And even better, they're solid goals. It's on the counter, it's open nets, taking advantage of the team over rotating, or just getting a dunk to the midfield. It's one thing to have, just an own goal or you get a weird deflection, but being able to actually be in the way and correctly position yourself, like that replay we just see from Striking Dawn, that's exactly what you're looking for, because you're saying, yeah, we gave up 5, but ultimately, if you just lock down the defense, kind of rely on those counterattacks, or at the very least just be a bit more sparing with what you dive in on, you don't really know how these games are going to go. Granted, Japan thinks they do. They think it's going to be another dub for them. They're trying to set it on the match point. We'll have to see just how lucky or accurate they are in that prediction as we ready up yet again.
Yeah, you don't text the score in the chat unless you're feeling confident about the result, that's for sure. And oh, that confidence may come in the form of more goals. Look at already, right off the bat, a power shot to the bar. That crossbar will be the one thing that saves Team Korea for now.
Uncooked egg, nice power shot onto the backboard. Deadprez looking for that read, a little bit too fast for their comfort, so I suppose a pinch for Babs going to be well enough down the corner. Ballsy. Saw almost intercepted, but actually no, it still pinballs all the way back down. Undercooked Egg is coming off a banger of a game too, so I think trying to add to that score total definitely something they want to do. They were the one actually behind a lot of that trash talk, so maybe being goal leader will also benefit in that endeavor.
Yeah, but almost a minute down, and look who has the ball now. Team Korea striking Dawn on the sideline, but what a dunk. This should be open. Undercooked Egg to the other side. It's saved at the last second from Babs the Boon, who says not so fast.
That's psychotic. I don't know how they got that. In fact, on the counterattack, striking Dawn nearly actually got on that for a double on the near side. I mean, that's hyper impressive, and that's not even just luck. He had to angle it perfectly to get around that one coming from the back post. But regardless, that was then, and this is now. Japan still on the attack. Deadprez trying to filter that one around. Striking Dawn will not bite on any positional fake.
These high lobbing passes have done so well for Team Japan because we do see that absence of defense on the backboard from Team Korea. I think we'll see more of that for Team Japan as they still search for that first goal. And while both teams are doing that, they supplement it with demolitions. It's a 2v2 there for a moment, but now all reinforcements in place. Striking Dawn with a save to the backboard. Tries to flick it over top of Deadprez, but that whiff might have helped. Babs the Boon lands on one, but Ballsy keeps things neutral. Taking it to midfield territory. Pass over to Deadprez as well. Links up for the shot. But the defense of Team Korea has looked its best.
Yeah, really looking at the kind of iron curtain that's being set up in the backfield. A lot of aggressive movement forward, but right as you get inside that 18-yard box, it's kind of closed down and not really open for business here in Game 3. Thing is about maintaining that. Always the hardest thing. You can sit back so much, but you need to get forward like Babs is trying to do. That's good enough on the 50, but how about the follow through? First to last, not going to get this one. Deadprez trying to keep it as high as possible, but not getting that follow through as of yet. Pass middle, Ballsy looking for another deflection, and it's well over.
We said this game would come down to the defense of Team Korea, how it would shape up. Well, so far, 5 saves and 0 goals conceded until this moment. The lightning fast bouncer of Deadprez finds the back of the net.
Poor first to last trying to get on this one, but then lands at the worst possible timing. When you're on the outside, it's hitting your hood, bouncing out, and then you get dunked. It's always going to go at least inside the field, but he did not anticipate it going perfectly in that near side. A screamer off the deflection, and a really unfortunate one for Team Korea. As we were mentioning, I mean, we did maybe cast or curse them a little bit, but we're setting the expectations that they need to step up the defense. They are, and it was keeping them even, but now let's see if they can strike something back with maybe striking Dawn coming at it from an angle. Low shot, though. Not going to fool Ballsy.
Well, they're trending up with the goal scoring from games 1 to 2. Maybe they can keep that trend going here in the final 2 minutes. First or last. Does get the beat on one. Sees Ballsy on 0 boost, but just tries to get the dunk over top. Doesn't work out. Deadprez had found that 50-50 pinch goal earlier, so tries to get the pinch on the sidewall to work out in their favor. Has guarded them in possession, is striking Dawn, gets the save, but Ballsy takes straight to the corner, keeps that ball elevated, try to keep it out of reach of Team Korea. Undercooked Egg, shot, pass to Deadprez for their second goal.
That's a clinical finish right there from Deadprez. Understand they need to get to this one as quickly as possible because Undercooked Egg has done exactly what they need to do. Just beat that defender over the top. Back post not going to be able to recover in time, and so you're just there to pound it home. Even the Hatsune Miku tag even in the banner. So really just all-around theming A+ from Japan.
The vibes are elite. Shot taking as clinical as you could ask for. And wow, that one very close as the ball stretches across the face of the goal. You saw the chance at a player flying in, but couldn't fly fast enough, high enough, as well as Ballsy does.
Really clean touch, and this is actually really the bread and butter of what most air dribbles are. People are saying, you need to end that with a flip reset or a double tap, but sometimes it's just about making sure that as you see a player jump, I'm just going to tap it a little bit higher. I'm just going to tap it a little bit farther, and sometimes the defense has no idea how to calculate that trajectory. Excellent play from Ballsy, showing the skill, showing why Team Japan is in the position they are as leading this one, looking to go to match point. And right now I think it's, again, Team Korea just trying to mount a comeback attempt and try to figure out the best way to do that. Right now, it's hard to be able to just get through that first layer of defense of our blue side.
I like a long, clear jump starting it. That from Striking Dawn looked really solid. First or last, playing that half-court line, but is going to be behind the play when it comes to stopping Dead Prez. A demolition on the back line leaves things open momentarily. First or last clears it away. Team Korea looking for that late goal once again, as they did in game number 2. May not be able to find it though. Dead Prez, MVP of this one, will push this one out, away, and to the ground. Team Japan take another.
I gotta say, Team Japan, I mean, a lot of coordination between them. It's really funny as well because you actually also see moments where earlier in the game they had a team pinch, I believe, in front of the goal that nearly went on in. So there's a decent amount of comms happening here. They're coordinated, and most importantly, they're really just effective when they do have those chances. They're getting these immediate follow-ups and also getting these 50s. That's a rough opener as we see the replays start to play through.
Yeah, you know, we opened the series talking about Dead Prez and their hours in the game and how long they've been gaming. They had hours and years of gaming, higher than any other recorded player, I think, in our stat sheet. So no surprise to see them behind some of these cheeky plays. But I will say, the play of the game was from Ballsy. That air dribble, I think, is as emblematic to the Air Force as it could possibly be. Just a beauty of an air dribble flight of that goal.
And being able to take off like that and get that type of goal is just another weapon kind of in that mechanical arsenal I'm sure Team Japan would like to employ. But all they got to do is just lock in for one more 5-minute period, trying to open up our group play here on broadcast with a sweep over Team Korea. And, you know, Team Korea's not going to take that one lying down, especially as Undercooked Egg continues to chirp at him in the quick chat afterwards even. That back post shot could be an opener if it's just a little bit faster to beat out Ballsy.
Match point. And as these players do like to chirp, I'm sure they'd love to back up that talk from Team Japan with a sweep. Not give any leeway to this squad opening up in the group stage. So far, much of the same. Extended possession out of Team Japan, but Team Korea putting up a formidable defense. First or last, hoping the touch isn't too heavy that they can't get a second, but they just miss out on it. Babs the Boon called to the action on the goal line to make another save. How many until they can finally get their exit route?
Well, Babs is certainly trying. Issue is, again, you just run out of boost at a certain point. That aerial not going to hit the ball, but will hit the player, and actually just as beneficial. It's going to force them to throw that into the corner. Babs, corner read again, dropping on top of that. Hefty dunk for a ball to try to half flip on top of. String Dawn might be able to get a shot off, and indeed does. That's looking for the top corner back post, and he had a bit too much sauce on that one.
I love that from the Dominus, though. It's the perfect car to take those precise shots. If you want to slide it into that top corner, that's the car you do it with. And maybe Striking Dawn will get another chance of this possession because it is Babs the Boon, excuse me, to keep that alive. But Ballsy back from the ceiling, has a flip still. It is bouncing in, and I think it was just the threat of Ballsy that let this one fall in.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation as a defender. You have boost, but you have to get up for it, but you don't realize, is it going even further? Is it going to get a dunk? Is it going to be a flip reset? Because they still, coming off the ceiling, you can use your reset a little bit later on. But no, it's none of those. It's just no contact. Sometimes both players play each other's read, and then it just kind of sees the ball float right between them, and that was one of those occasions. Again, a rough one to give up for Team Korea. Now they got to mount a comeback to keep this series alive.
There are, in my opinion, too many goals that happen because each player is playing each other's read and no one hits the ball. It is a devastating way for the ball to go in if you're on defense. But hey, if you're on Team Japan, you're happy to see another one fall in. First or last, giving it everything they've got to do the same here for Team Korea. It's a pretty good read for striking Dawn. They've had a great eye on the ball as this series has progressed. Fortunately for them, it's not enough to score. Instead, Undercooked Egg lofting this alive right above the crossbar, nearly for a second goal.
And the boost control from Team Japan, so oppressive. They're rotating out just to midfield, just to get the 100, and then they turn right back. They are not going all the way back to their corner. For the most part, they are able to stay upfield because of just that. Honestly, a lot of high-level strategy here. You could say these are kind of pickup teams. No, these are teams that had to run through a qualifier regionally to get here in the first place. So clearly you can tell they're putting in the work. They're here to win, and right now, even if they're having fun, they're chirping away, and there's a little bit of casual nature in that. They still have the mechanics to make it count. Dead Prez looking for that combo. Not quite on that iteration.
Love the lean back for the redirect there. As you said, it didn't connect, but you could tell Team Japan coming into this match with some creative ideas. But maybe going to tried and true will be the bread and butter for them to finish out this series, because it isn't that 3-0 lead that they boasted earlier or anything like that. It's still a 1-point game. This game's still on a knife edge. It's Team Japan looking to close down their 2-goal lead. They will with that one.
Undercooked Egg, I mean, they're really just the striker here on this squad, sitting back, waiting for a clear, and then not only putting it through, putting it really the only place First or Last had no chance at it, all the way on that back post. Abzoon going to give him a nice shot just for the placement alone, but that's really all the niceties that they can tolerate for right now, because they have to get back on the horse. Kickoff's always a goal-scoring opportunity if you're quick enough to it. Fortunately, First or Last was last on that one.
I'm sure these players know that no matter what time is on the clock, no matter what the score is, there is no sense of giving up. You give everything you got for everything that's left on the clock. So for Team Korea, 1 minute stands before them, an expired time in this series. Striking Dawn is going to make the most of every second, funneling into that offensive rotation at the half-court line. Bamps the boon with a great dunk, goes in for the bump against Ballsy, which forces him away. And First or Last had the opportunity for a pass from the corner, but the miss sparks a mistake as Undercooked Egg nearly secures a third.
It's really funny that a couple times now I've seen Team Korea go for a read. They're not quite angling it right, but every time they've gone for a bump, they've connected. So it's really impressive to see that they're actually accurate, just not in the way that maybe you would anticipate. They need to be accurate on this one, or at least quick enough on the uptick, as that is another save on the goal line. That's 2 back-to-back from First or Last, now with full boost and the approach. Chance to put something that tests Ballsy, unfortunately Sealing not going to do that.
There's been so many smart touches, great rotations, and good communications out of Team Korea, but it looked like nothing could stop the striking prowess out of Team Japan. That is going to be the ending of this series as it hits the ground. It is a sweep to close our first match of the round robin stage.
And it's a tough one to bear for Team Korea, but ultimately when you do see it, you're like, you know what? It happens. You just got to move on and understand that this is group stage for a reason. We're not facing elimination. We're just playing for that seeding going forward. And honestly, I don't think they can feel pretty good about how they performed, at least at times, getting those saves off, getting a couple goals as well. But Team Japan, I mean, they're contenders. They're looking clean. As you mentioned, kind of that home field advantage potentially being a factor. But I think the mechanics also played, a fair degree of causality in how this one turned out.
For sure. I think the mechanics are diversified as well along the portfolio of this team. You have Undercooked Egg, as you said, was really that striker for this team. That's exactly the player that when the rebounding is over, when the net is open or it's being closed off, to hit that perfect angle on the shot. But players as well like Ballsy just have that aerial capability to get the air dribble across the field and lock in on a great mechanical play. I love what I saw out of this team because of the differences of skill that they bring to the table. And as you said, for Korea, this is a sweep of a loss, but there are glimmers of hope for this team, things for them to work upon, strengths to rely on for them to do still well in this round robin stage.
Yeah, they have a good bedrock of skill. I think they're still getting on these reads quickly. They're actually able to play the wall pretty well. That's honestly the one thing that I get a little worried about is when a ball goes on the backboard and they can't clear it. It's like, oh, well, that's going to be a little rough. But no, they seem pretty comfortable. It's just about making sure they're going forward. When you're playing a team as confident and just coordinated as Team Japan, I think it can be a little overwhelming because you're so focused on getting a clear and getting a boost. Then as soon as you get that boost and then turn your ball cam back on, it's already in the air coming back. And you're like, well, there goes my boost because I have to use it immediately. It can be quite a lot to handle on one person's mind and also on their thumbsticks as they're trying to play through that game. So regardless, rough one for Team Korea, but they'll be back in our next round, at least for right now. I mean, we'll see really what Team Japan has to offer here because we're trying to form our own favorites, Pyro, throughout this bracket. And at least so far, I mean, I'd like to see who's going to be able to contend with Team Japan going into second round.
Yeah, we'll see if Pacific Islanders have what it takes, or Pacific Islands, that region, to see if they have what it takes. As it's really interesting with these teams, right? They had to go through their own qualifiers to represent their region. So for round 2 of this round robin stage, I guess we will see more of Team Japan, more of that home court advantage to see if it proceeds throughout this tournament.
I think also as we take a look at all these players, again, we will be seeing every team on broadcast. So if anyone's here is like, where is my Pacific Islanders? Where's Team Alaska? It's coming. All right, everyone calm down and keep it, keep your pants on. It's like, we'll get there, and we just got to be able to filter through everybody and also pay homage to all those teams that did play. We're looking to see if we can potentially touch a base with Team Japan, give them a little chat, kind of get to know them a bit more after that one series, after they got that 4-0. Because I'm curious, especially with if there was a history between some of these teams. I know a lot of the players in the military that I've talked to that do play esports or play in these organized leagues, they know each other super well. They chat with each other. They party up with each other. So I want to see if there was a little familiarity or if this is truly just, hey, first time meeting you. Nice to see you. Now I'm going to crush you on the other side.
Exactly, because you'd think like, okay, you're just going to see who you vibe with, who you've talked at your base, right? Who plays the game, what it comes down to. But I think with this being like the second annual esports competition, first year for Rocket League, these players know that this tournament is happening and that there will be a world championship in July. This may not be the kind of tournament that you want to say, all right, let me get my buddy on. This is that tournament that's like, okay, let me scout for like the best players in our region so that we can get a chance to travel to Japan for this tournament now and later on for the World Championship. So you can appreciate the level of preparation that went in from these players to say that, okay, yeah, we want to form the best team for Team Japan. So I'll be curious as well to hear from the players. And not only that, but what do they expect out of the other teams? Did they expect that one to be a sweep? Because the text chats that we saw in the game, Taco, looked like they were confident, but you want to hear from the players too.
Yeah, especially because you mentioned actually the interesting part about tournaments like this. And I see this all the time. I mean, you can say it in the professional scene. You see the microcosm of like, hey, I want to play in this. And then you hit up a player that you know is really good and they've already been stolen by a different roster. And you're like, oh, no. So it's about like getting those players first, calling dibs, licking them and being like, that's mine. I saw him first. So it can be a little tough when you're trying to form that. So when I do see a team that actually is well oiled, it's like a curiosity of, okay, were you guys just really good friends? You play together all the time and you're good players, so you just go for it? Or did you have to form that? Did you have to practice? Because, yeah, as you mentioned, a lot on the line here. There is a DAF World Championship going on a little bit later on. So you don't want to just win this for pride. I mean, there's another trip in it for you if you can lock in.
And it's kind of that honor, too, of, okay, we're not just representing the bases from, say it is Team Japan at the end of the day. We're representing from PACAF, like we're representing from Asia Pacific. We are the best Rocket League team from this region to play at this level. Like that's a serious honor. That's an incredible achievement. And so I think that's like not just in the back of the minds of these players, but in the forefront as well. Like, yeah, let's have a good time. Let's talk in the text chat, but let's also see if we could represent our team at a world stage. So, with those stakes in mind, Taco, it makes the matches a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, indeed it does. And we'll be back with some more matches, but also more importantly, we also want to hear from those players. We're going to try to set that up on the back end. Don't go anywhere. More PACAF Esports Championship after this.
What I would do for you.
And indeed, we are back, and we are actually able to sit down with a member of Team Japan 4-0 sweep to open up the group stage. And I do believe we have Ballsy on the mic to be able to see kind of the insights into Team Japan and getting that dub. Ballsy, how you doing? Congrats on an opening sweep. Was that expected out of the roster?
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, we kind of expected the King to come in this thing and kind of just rock the house.
Oh, there you go.
We're expecting a clean sweep the whole way through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, Pyro, I think you have the same question as I do.
Yeah, well, maybe not, because, I mean, my mind is on how this team really formed originally, Ballsy. Like, where does this confidence come from? Are you guys, operating out of the same base, or is this kind of the first time that you guys get to actually play in person?
I'm having trouble hearing him. If you could just repeat it, Taco.
Oh, so, yeah, we basically just asking, like, is this a chemistry that you guys built because you just came together and said, we'll see how this works? Or when this was announced and said, okay, you can form a team within that region, did it just kind of click immediately and you're like, yeah, these are the guys I want to play with?
So one of the guys, actually, I've known for quite a bit. We played for a while, and we knew we were going to come in this thing and kind of just play our hearts out. We have one guy that we just met, like, a week ago, and he's been on the same wavelength ever since.
Oh, geez. Okay, that's a really quick operation. Normally it takes you like a lot of scrims or whatever. Then it's like, nope, you just click it. I mean, let's see, Pyro, if you want to follow up, we'll see if your mic's been switched on here.
I was going to let you take it at that point.
Oh, I mean, I just want to see.
Yeah. Oh, you, Taco.
No.
All right. Well, just to make sure. Yeah, just to make sure it continues, I guess I'll follow up and say, like, going to this event, being able to say, you're looking for sweeps all the way through. So you think that it's going to be 4-0s. Is that based on actual knowledge, or are you guys just really that confident that you are the best team here?
It's 100% confidence. If you don't play with confidence, you play scared, and when you play scared, you lose. So
I mean, that's only fair. You guys are definitely hopping on like every single loose read that you could see, which we were definitely applauding you guys. But then kind of going forward and seeing the next one, we also have an aspect, especially Uncooked Egg, not shy of typing in the text chat and dropping some quick chats. Was that like a psychological measure you guys added just to be like, this will tilt them a little bit, or was that just kind of like banter to kind of go along with the scoreline?
For myself, it's definitely a banter thing. For him, it's all mental. Once your mental goes, it's kind of like you can't play anymore. So
yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Maybe that'll be an asset you keep in the back pocket as well if you have a specific player that you know on the other team in your future matches. But yeah, you've taken down your first. You're 1-0 for the group stage. Awesome to see. Just wanted to give you a chance before we let you go. Any shout outs you want to give, I guess, to the broadcast before we get you guys ready up for round 2?
shout out to 909. We're here representing y'all, and we're taking it home for y'all.
Well, there you go. That's all we really need to hear. Ballsy, thank you so much, and best of luck with the rest of your games.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, man. Pyro, I mean, like, that's just, I love that. Sheer confidence. He's like, we don't have confidence. Yeah. What even are you? And it's like, yeah, you know what? Great question. And they showed it, 4-0, and they say it's going to be 12-0 on the day. So, you know, we'll have to keep an eye on that prediction.
We will, yeah. Listen, what's especially interesting about that is there were different reasons for the confidence to show. It's like, oh yeah, for me it's banter, but for my teammate it's actually psychological warfare. But you know what? As long as you're on the same page and having a good time, which it seems like this team is, then by all means continue that sweeping fashion of your events. I like what I see so far.
Yeah, it's like, I'm doing it for fun. This guy, he's just a wild animal. He's a loose cannon. It's like we can't keep him in. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing more of those gameplay and also more of these player personalities. And we will be able to after yet another short break, though. This has been the PACAF Esports Championship. We got round 2 coming up after this. Hello and welcome back to some more PACAF Esports Championship. Again, this is the Rocket League side of the broadcast, and we had our first match already, Pyro. Team Japan taking the 4-0 over Team Korea. It's a dominant showing, and they say they're going to sweep the whole way, so I guess we'll find out in our second match against Pacific Islands where they're able to actually keep up that pace.
Yeah, Pacific Islands look like they're going to be a team that actually gives them some good competition. We're noticing some grand champion tags in the title, which is not an easy stat to get a hold of. And reading some of the gaming career and fun facts from these players, there's no big surprise as to how they qualify to represent the Pacific Island region here. You've got players that have been playing MOBAs, adventure survival games, for 10 years. You have players who say that when they drink an energy drink, they become the best gamer possible. That's coming out of Y from Team Pacific Islands. Like, I'm getting the vibe that these are players that are true gamers, Taco, which can go a long way.
Yes, and being able to actually see who actually locks in and who is able to play the normal time. Honestly, the hardest part about LANs, I feel like for some players, is that you are playing at like in the daytime, and a lot of gamers play super late at night. I feel like so sometimes that's the hardest part. But honestly, the hardest thing about this tournament is seeing how hard all these poses up are. Team Japan, as we just saw, Ballsy, Dead Prez, and Flex Tape Adhesive being able to be there, otherwise known as Undercooked Egg. And then we got Team Pacific Islands, Insane Line, Y, and one and only Olaf. I mean, these are players that historically have always done pretty well to be able to get through in here representing Team Pacific Islanders, because as a reminder to all you at home, anyone you're seeing here representing a team, they have won their sub-region to be able to represent that region. So we're going to get to see them here in the facility chatting it up prior to the series start.
And they do look locked in. I can tell that is Team Japan on the left, Team Pacific Islands on the right. And as they're there in person, they can communicate as effectively as they need to and stay coordinated. I'm sensing a little bit less of that, you know, trash talk, maybe banter that was going on in the previous round. But then again, Team Japan were pretty keen in on making that a part of their theme today, which was to send the chatter and the banter over. So we'll see if that spices up at all as we get into our second match of the round robin.
Yeah, and being able to actually see the players join into their lobby and then get ready for kind of like this next match. I think Team Japan, they did mention when we did talk to Ballsy on that interview that, yeah, the trash talk and all the quick chats, they're kind of just meant to be able to like have fun, but there is an element of that where you're sitting right next to somebody. I mean, we don't know what they're yelling at each other across the way because they're sitting right next to each other. I thought they were going to be playing in like different rooms, but no, they are actually like 5 feet away. So what that'll lend to, I don't really know. I'm sure that's going to hold back, but Pacific Islands, as we saw, we were actually privy to the warm-up lobby. They look pretty prepped. They look pretty quick. So I don't know if Team Japan truly knows what they have on their hands. We should be able to get into Japan and Pacific Islands soon. We do have the players in the lobby, but typically we try to let them sit for a little bit. So everyone viewing at home is like, we're not just yapping to yap. We're just trying to make sure that we're actually getting everybody on the same page. But it looks like our admin has been working closely with them. I have to imagine it's kind of like herding cats to a certain amount. Like these guys are just super excited to be out in Japan, be at the base and be like, oh man, let's like kind of on vacation. It's like, no, we still have to, get you in your chairs, make sure you join the lobby, make sure you're all good. And it looks like our admin said they are good to join sides, Pyro. So looks like we should be all fine to see if Pacific Islands can't stand up, represent the region with pride again. Pacific Islands, that is Hawaii and Guam representing from those 2 islands. So Japan, just that one solitary island. And yet we'll see really if they're able to maintain that honor. Again, 4-0 prediction is what Japan was calling in advance, like Babe Ruth pointing out the center field. We'll see if that actually holds any validity in Game 1.
We will see if the sweep city continues for Team Japan or if Team Pacific Islands have that dark horse element, that upset factor. Already, I'm liking the mechanics coming out from Mark Wizzy, getting the read on that sidewall double. I really feel like this team is about to shake Japan in a way they haven't been shaken before, but to do that, they might need more help like they just got from the post.
Yeah, I saw the sidewall skim and immediately was like, oh yeah, we're on. It's it's so on right now, as we will be able to see them definitely be competitive. Thing is, Team Japan, they have a lot of chemistry. They were saying, I mean, one of their players joined a little late, and yet they're locked in. They're looking good. They got some good rotation going, but I will say the confidence coming out so far from Pacific Islands is looking pretty clean. I'm just trying to see what they can deliver on mechanically. That's a pass or maybe just a double commit in the middle. It will not work out. Ballsy and Deadprez trying to combine, but unfortunately, Skim going well wide.
Eyes for me still on Mark Wizzy, as this player is lightning fast in the aerial approaches. That's the kind of stuff that will keep the team on the same page, but that jump was a little too tough to get to. What a send away from Olaf. Is it going to be cross court for this shot in the goal? Yes, it will be. The save was all too close.
Yeah, Ballsy, I think honestly trying to flip into that late with a 50, but actually didn't time it well. It goes all the way down, and credit to Underground Deck, honestly almost got back all the way to bar that out for the save. Unfortunately, pixels short on the comeback, so we will have our first goal be going to Team Pacific Islands, something that Team Japan is not super used to. Maybe they can strike back immediately if Ballsy had his way off the backboard. Not going to be able to set that one up. Mark Wizzy able to combine or something like it with Insane Line to at least get it back to mid.
I'm looking forward to this being an extended series here. You have players like one and only Olaf that talked about being new to competitive gaming, and sometimes competing for the first time, especially when it comes to on land, can be a very rare circumstance that leaves you a little bit shaky when it comes to performing at the top level. This maybe wasn't the performance that Team Pacific Islands was looking for.
And there it is, Undercooked Deck with a nice one and a nice, good shot, man. Wrong goal, though. Diabolical in the team chat. But hey, we talked to Ballsy and said, Undercooked Deck, I mean, he loves to be able to enact, I believe the exact term was psychological warfare. Maybe with another goal, he could add even more on, but I suppose he's not going to get that lucky. Defense starting to solidify for Pacific Islands as we're back to square one with the tie score line just 2 minutes in.
Just 2 minutes in and 3 minutes to go. Plenty of time for shots to go. Both fired in game and in the chat. Mark Wizzy, though, with a long ball. So far, the downtown shots have been the one to credit Pacific Islands. One was guarded well by Japan. Japan still yet to get out of their own scene. What a take there for Mark Wizzy once again. So far, the sharpshooter out of Pacific Islands. And a team that will get a bit fortunate as that shot didn't go in.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit too cocky on some of these sidewall reads, or rather the back wall adjustments. And I will say that is the one thing from Team Pacific Islands I'm most concerned about, is it could give up some goals right now. Not too much punishment, maybe physically, as accidental back pass is going to go over to Insane Line, who will immediately half rotate on that. But fortunately, diving in with no boost will yield little results. Everyone kind of resetting to their own half, or maybe just going into the other one, getting a bump and allowing Mark Wizzy an open net.
Ooh, this one is exactly what I think Pacific Islands are trying to formulate, right? If it's a bump in net, if it's a pass off the backboard, whatever it is, get Mark Wizzy in position to score. That one's going to be slotted every time.
I do like that lead blocker taking out the goalkeeper. Not only just getting the first bump, but also getting the second one, just trying to slow him down. And that's what it's all about, being able to facilitate a path forward for your squad. And maybe it's putting Team Japan a little bit on their back heels, especially with quick aerials like that. Mark Wizzy gonna fake around, no contact on that of comeback, but maybe one and only Olaf can use all their boost, getting it past the defender. That's open up until Deadprez saves the day.
Saves the day. Will they be able to save the game? Undercooked Egg does steal boost. If they can keep this possession alive, that will have lasting effects. Right now on the defense of Team Pacific Islands, as they may just be able to do that. Dead Prez misses the boost. Ballsy picks up instead. That's 2. The ability to counter Insane Lion. Olaf protects the net, though. We're seeing this defensive rotation work swimmingly right now for Team Pacific Islands. Not letting a lot through. Except for this backboard play, this one's going to get right back down to the net. Saved by Marquizzi. Dead Prez next up to the plate. Sets up for the double tap off the backboard. Gets the touch once again. Does he have a teammate to score? No, not until Uncooked Egg takes the shot. Again, they'll rally for a chance at the goal, but nothing will go.
Speaking of nothing, that's exactly how I described the tank right now for Team Pacific Islands. They're desperately clawing away at that ball. That clear is going to do a lot, if not for Ballsy hitting it right back in. And maybe with the deeper rotation, Team Japan has given them an avenue out. But again, it's just those lack of resources. Team Japan does not want to leave this half without a goal, especially in the final 15 seconds, still down by 1. There is finally a long enough clear.
This will be last chance here. Ballsy sends it across. This one could be right for the taking. Marquizzi doesn't get the shot. Sacrifices their life just to save the ball. Undercooked Egg, final take. It's saved! Pacific Islands keeps the goal line clean and takes game 1.
And Undercooked Egg also, unfortunately, the one trusted with that last shot doesn't get it to go, and that's the way it's going to fall. So that is the one scenario I was curious about. What happens if they trash talk and can't pull through with the victory? Team Pacific Islands showing that they've got hands.
I mean, I didn't think I'd be saying this, but Team Japan walks away from that game without really technically scoring their own goal. It was Pacific Islands to make the own goal happen for the only point on the board for Japan. So this is a Team Japan that is uncharacteristic from what we've seen after their sweep in round 1. Normally a team that's getting at least 3 goals on the board has to kind of find their form once again, maybe get back to the fundamentals to get some confidence under their wings.
And I think ultimately the one thing that they're probably most concerned about is just generating that offense, and more importantly, getting it on target, because they had possession for what seemed like about 30 full seconds at one point and did not come away with a goal. That simply just cannot happen. I think they're well aware of it, but my goodness, they can be aware of it on offense. They need to play defense as well, though, right? Immediately, yeah, but one and only Olaf taking another air dribble. He's really been using that repeatedly to try to test out Japan's awareness, and maybe they can do the same. That's a nice lob. Ballsy is there. How about Undercooked Egg, back post, another pre-jump save.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of crystal ball this team of Pacific Islands has to be able to forecast where the shot will be. You're talking about these pre-jump saves that are so difficult to make, especially with the stakes on the line. But look at this. It only takes one chance for the Pacific Islands to get some great looks at the net. But tragically, none of them will enter the back of the net.
That's a rough miss, but also if you wanted a psychological insight into Team Japan, that triple commit on the near post, I think spelled out everything you need to know. Now they have a chance to at least catch their breath and get a crazy pass off to Undercooked Egg. Look at the work done by Dead Prez.
And there it is, finally, the fruits of their labor. You mentioned it, Dead Prez maneuvered their way from the corner, and yeah, kind of asking if it's for free, because true to the club name of these Pacific Island players, it looked like they were faking their way out of that play.
And I thought, honestly, that we did see Dead Prez follow it through, but no, he actually just threw it down into the blender and see what happens. Marquizzi is also trying to do the same thing, but maybe trying to set up mechanics. Doesn't get that flip reset to go, but neither does the clear. Marquizzi, though, still with 0 boost, smells a chance and will strike.
Well, this is where you type for free if you're Marquizzi, because the miss on the backboard translates to easy pickings from Marquizzi. Team Japan cannot allow players to cook like that in the paint.
That's a tough one as well, because it's an unforced error. That ball is rolling pretty delicately off the backboard. Not really something you have to track too hard, but you need to make some contact. I think Ballsy was just convinced they could take their time, and unfortunately they were wrong on that chance. But hey, they have a chance to strike back. How about this one for the upfield pass? Top shelf, right down the middle. It's too fast to handle.
Okay, this one might have to go on the highlight reel, because what a tee up from Dead Prez. We were trying to highlight them earlier on their assist, but this one is picture perfect. Talk about bread and butter counterattack for this team that I want to see more of, which Taka we didn't really get to see in their last matchup because they didn't play a whole lot of defense, but I guess there's something truly to it.
Yeah, I think being able to get those types of goals is really satisfying, especially when you tee someone up, you're like, I can put it on target, but I need to make sure I have solid contact, and that's exactly what we did see off of Team Japan. So now we are in the weird position for Pacific Islands. The first time they are dealing with being behind now in the mid-game. They really were able to answer back pretty quickly in game one, but maybe not the case here. Could get even worse. Undercooked Egg, he's huge, hitting the weight room and muscling through for a third.
Some shot opportunities, you've just got to send the house, give it everything you've got, and staying on that right end of the 50-50 was the good look there for Undercooked Egg, taking advantage of that defense that may not have had their feet set in time.
And Ballsy might be able to even add more damage, no reset necessarily, but also gets the kind of alternate pogo over top, but that one goes by the wayside. How about the counterattack? That's top shelf. Ballsy, you got to get up. He trusts the crossbar. He should not have.
Olaf, your gaming career says new to competitive gameplay. Go ahead and scratch that out. That was majestic. What a goal across the entire court to secure this game. And now a 1-point lead for Japan.
And really nice to see from Team Pacific Islands. It's also necessarily not even like you have to score that, because there was a defender back. So any other placement I think on that would not have worked out. But at the end of the day, yes, the job is only partially done, as the journey will continue. And maybe they could find it right here. That was a little bit of a late challenge there from Ballsy, but no worries. That deep third and Undercooked Egg is able to get away with it. But now here's another chance. Mark Wizzy, look for the power shot. Instead goes for the catch, and Ballsy just reads him right from the get-go.
Oh, I love that from Ballsy. At least just threaten the shot. The rebound was close. The follow-up is not there from Undercooked Egg. You could tell the sort of angle that the shot needed to take to score. So trying to get that sharp angle sometimes results in missing the ball. They'll still allow for an opportunity out of Team Japan if they can get through Insane Lion as well as Mark Wizzy, and they will. Undercooked Egg right under the ball off the sidewall. Positioned is their teammate of Dead Prez to pass this off the backboard. It's a good read for Mark Wizzy to not allow for the easy rebound.
Mark Wizzy's going to also not follow up as slowly as he can. He will make sure he rushes it, and that clear leads to potentially setting up camp on the other half. Mark Wizzy with a gentle touch. Really nice setup, especially if Insane Lion can get on it. All three are required for the goal, and there's Olaf to cap it off for the comeback.
You want to see a big body on the play. Take a look at Insane Lion. Consumes the 50-50. Maybe even the 150, however that might work. I saw two defenders on that ball, but nobody left on the rebound.
Mark Wizzy off the kickoff might have this one. It sneaks inside the post. And from bad to worse for Team Japan, they've lost their lead now, and it's off a kickoff of all things.
And we've seen that rarely today, but it still happens in Rocket League. You take one misstep, or on the advantage, you take the right step. You cheat up aggressively enough, you got yourself a goal. Team Pacific Islands has turned this game on its head and now forced Japan to make a move. Indeed they will.
I mean, these players need to calm down at a certain point. I'm thinking we're going to run out of goals at a certain point. We got a finite supply, you might think, but that's a nice pinch on the cheat up. I think everyone was so distracted by Dead Prez up high that no one really anticipated the player coming down low, taking that 50, and seeing Team Pacific Islands. It's not that easy to get away from us on the goal margin. In fact, we might even mount even more, as that was a double commit required to get that one clear.
So much work put in here between both teams. You'd think they should earn a tick mark on the series score, but no, it has to be earned at every second of the game. And that includes Ballsy's slow but methodical approach to save that shot. Mark Wizzy not so keen on giving up a possession, though, to Team Japan. This game could be momentum based, and Team Japan's equalizer could be running pretty hot.
Especially now as we're getting down to the clutch. Mark Wizzy! The redirect out of nowhere! Look at the adjustment!
You're joking. Insane line directly into the breadbasket of Mark. Does it look easy?
Over, look at this. Wait a minute. That's a tactical kickoff. Dead press back post. No way, says Mark Wizzy. I thought that had a chance, but apparently Mark Wizzy putting up MVP numbers right now. 672 points. He's got a hat trick on 3 saves as well. And maybe his teammate's going to add one more. Dead press going to have to take this one coast to coast. Try to play for the miracle run here. Ballsy, high flick, pass another. Wait a minute, what a flick up, but Olaf is there. It's going to touch the turf. And Team Pacific Islands turns it a barn burner of a game 2 into a dub.
Well, after the overbearing victory from Team Japan in our first matchup, I will unveil the fact that Taco and I had either a 4-0 or a 4-1 prediction in favor of Team Japan. I am happy to say that neither of us will be right as Pacific Islands start off our match with a 2-0 lead.
And being able to see that come through, I mean, a 5-4, though, in terms of how many goals we've had ramped up. I like it when these types of games are like, defense is optional. You know, let's just like go out, let's just try to play as hard as possible, get these counterattacks. And honestly, I would normally say like, some of these are clunky, some of these you see on the replay, just a 50 on the near post, but we had a lot of really great finesse, like this one. Oh, I love seeing that POV as EC Mark Wizzy just perfectly adjusts, trust his aim on it, and I think both teams fully on notice of what each other are capable of.
That's the kind of shot you hit at the peak of the tournament, and we're in day 1. So I cannot wait to see what else this team of Pacific Islands has in store for us. Why don't we just get game 3 underway and see what exactly they'll have ready and see if Taco we get another 9-goal game.
Well, certainly a high bar to be able to set as we tripled the goals from game number 1, but I don't know if we can really keep up that pace. At a certain point, we only have so much breath to be able to give as casters, but hey, these players want goal, they want highlights, and they're going to go for it. Undercooked Egg went for one on the back post, couldn't make that contact.
You know, a little grand finals vibes out of this match right now, but it's certainly too early to tell any of that. It's just electric right now between these two teams. Respect has been earned, I think, especially in the manner of there hasn't been as many quick chats in the top corner of the map as well.
Yeah, at a certain point, I think you got to be like, okay, well, it is all well and good, but I need to make sure I'm hitting these reads and making sure that we're getting in the way. So maybe that's what Undercooked Egg is doing. I mean, he had a decent amount of good strikes going forward and wants to continue that streak, especially if his teammates can get those immediate follow-ups. But right now, they have to play a lot of defense because these deep clears keeping them honest.
It is, but, you know, with that clear, you need to get in front of the ball if that aerial setup is there for Mark Wizzy. Didn't translate into the perfect play for their team, but look at the way they get in front of these percolating plays out of Team Japan, just diffusing them at every effort with these quick challenges, forcing Team Japan to reset. That near double commit could have set them apart, but Undercooked Eggs gets massive clearance. Talk about coast to coast on that play.
Now we'll see actually a really advantageous bounce as Wonderful off might even have a double tap. That's going to be a miss. Mark Wizzy, make sure the follow-up is not. And what a way to open it up.
We're just not messing around today. This from Olaf should never be a double tap. How are you setting that up on the challenge against Team Japan? But some players are built different, and that is the case today so far for Team Pacific Islands.
And everyone really getting in a showcase of their different skill sets from Team Pacific Islands. And just as we saw in our first series on broadcast with Team Japan, you really do need it to be a full team effort. As we mentioned, this is a sub-regional representative team in Japan and Pacific Islands, and all the teams we'll be seeing today. So these guys had to go through a gauntlet to be able to get here in the first place, play on that land. So right now, you know that they are all having their own spot, and Mark Wizzy apparently is the cherry picker. He was lurking again on that back post, but no contact that time.
I mean, to make your journey to get to this position, at some point you kind of got to lock in and say, all right, I'm going to take this game seriously. Mark Wizzy in particular said they got a PC in 2020, and from that point on, that was their point of saying, you know what, I'm going to give Rocket League a more serious go, and now here they are, traveling to Japan to represent Team Pacific Islands here in this Air Force matchup, and could be closing in on gathering that 1 seed out of the round robin play.
Especially if this continues, it'll be 3-0 in the series, and with plays like this, testing out the defense's responsiveness, you don't really know. Team Japan really on the back foot. Honestly, it feels like Team Pacific Islands have locked into a rhythm that really is shaking Team Japan. Granted, if they don't have a good rotation, it doesn't really matter. Pacific Islands get me a little sweaty on that one. Didn't think they'd get back in time.
I'll tell you what, that's not going to shake Team Japan. They're used to teams making save after save against them, if we remember exactly how their last matchup went. That being said, they've got to start hitting these rebounds. Some of them going outside of the uprights is not going to help them change the 0-1 score line, and that's included on the touch there from Dead Prez.
Balls has to get back, but also watch out for that 50. Mark Wizzy was, man, marking that, eyeing it down to see if they could get there in time. Doesn't work out, so another Team Japan clear. And nothing following on that one. Mark Wizzy gets a perfect backflip. Also, maybe capitalizing off that giveaway from the corner, just trying to be in the way. Same with Olaf. That's going to be a lost 50, but what do you know? The rotation again there to keep shoving it towards Japan's goal.
Teams are about even on shots, 5-4 right now, but they're not even in goals. That's something that you feel like has to get changed in this final minute from Team Japan. Otherwise, a reverse sweep best of 7 isn't going to be pretty. A flip reset from Mark Wizzy back down to a teammate. It will not go. Resilient as ever right now is Team Japan as they work their way back.
Ballsy loved that catch and carry. Unfortunately, just couldn't wrangle it before the defense shuts things down. So it's going to go by the wayside. Mark Wizzy going for the musty off the sidewall. I mean, really not lacking for confidence. You said that was the player you had your eye on, and I think we see exactly why.
A little bit of style and finesse does also contribute to some of the best plays in Rocket League, but you got to lock in and play to the fundamentals here when crunch time comes. Here comes Insane Lion, long clear towards the net. That could have been the power shot to do it. Here it is, around the corner, the elbow shot will go. No one left home from Team Japan.
And that's a cherry on this Sunday that they are building for Team Pacific Islands, going on to match point as we get these 2 seconds as a formality to close this one out. But if anything, I mean, just treat this like an extra couple seconds to be able to talk, because certainly a lot to talk about if you're Team Japan. They're not necessarily out of this game, but Team Pacific Islands looking fast, looking confident, and right now looking very much in control as they're just 5 minutes away from getting a sweep of their own in the group stage.
I was going to say, this might sound out of pocket, but Team Japan did call a sweep in their next match, and we're 1 game away from indeed just that. But again, take a look at what Team Pacific Islands is doing in this game. Every time they get even just an opportunity from the midfield, from downtown, they're sending it straight away to the net. And you also mentioned the fact that, I mean, these players are showing off their mechanics, right? We've got Mark Wizzy with the stylish musty flicks, but we had one and only Olaf with that double tap pass, with that beautiful elbow shot. There's so many tools in the kit to utilize from Pacific Islands.
And also using a good mix of keeping it close on these air dribbles and these sidewall passes, and also just sending it deep. It's testing the defense's ability to get back after they try to go on offense. So I think that's really testing Team Japan. I think they would love to be able to do the same on their own offense, but problem is when a pass like that comes up, the other two too far back.
Yeah, you've got to have everybody committed to the play to convert these chances sometimes, but it's risky. You know, think about that last goal that was given up by Team Japan. No one was left back. That's not a situation you want to find yourself in Rocket League either. So performing that perfect balancing act of offense and defense can be very difficult at times. This play, though, just barely saved. Could it be a second save from the team? Yes. Is there anything that gets past this team of Pacific Islands right now? That one also barely saved.
Well, it's why that a lot of things in Rocket League, you have to be tiered because of all of those different layers you have to get through. Defense is like an onion, and right now it's making Japan cry because right now Team Pacific Islands is getting all the saves. Even when it feels like it's guaranteed to go on target, there's one player coming on through and depriving them of that finish. In fact, Insane Lion is looking to get through everybody. That sets up to Olaf. It's a fake potentially, who knows, but it does still come to Mark Wizzy. And if not for Ballsy, that was the lead.
Team Japan, they've got to be like Doctor Strange, thinking of every possibility that Team Pacific Islands could possibly go at it, because they're pulling off these juke plays, these fake plays. It's like the last resort maneuver is what's made from this team, and it's keeping Team Japan on edge. Make it really tough to read and play defense.
Olaf delayed from the ceiling, drops right down to Marquizzi, and he'll make no mistake. That's a combo we've seen multiple times, and it comes up yet again.
Yeah, these two are on fire when it comes to offensive efficiency, and you could try to convert a shot from Olaf's perspective, but why not dish it out to your top striker in Marquizzi?
And I'm not really reading a lot of quick chats. I'm also mostly hearing crickets, I would say, for the Team Japan side. So I think you actually do need to get a play going just so they can start that up again, maybe try and tilt. But I feel like they tried to do that. Team Pacific Islands, maybe they're just so good that they're like, honestly, you cannot shake me. I do not care whatsoever. That's at least a good way to start it, is undercooked egg. Excellent pass and a dead press.
Well, you asked for something to get this team going, and while we don't see it on the chat, we do see it on the field. Dead Prez, we called out for having all those hours in Rocket League, all that time as a certified gamer, 20 years in the making. It's got to come through on plays like that. Dead Prez has the opportunity to play hero for their team. Just needs to get another chance just like that, which they will. Pass on the backboard, and undercooked egg is already up for it.
Yeah, wait a minute, hold on. I have to see this, because on this bounce, you see actually him already flying, and then halfway through, he readjusts. That is unreal that they got away with that. That looked like a counterattack every day of the week, but Team Pacific Islands, I think again on that one.
Wild, truly. The mid-round adjustment. Undercooked egg, that's the kind of play that's going to fire up your team. That's the kind of play that's going to light up the quick chat. Can Team Pacific Islands adapt and fix that scoreboard?
Well, they're certainly having to deal with some more deflections, as that's actually a really good setup to Ballsy. Unfortunately, he's got no more boost, but maybe he has the accuracy top corner just wide. Undercooked egg, he's been the finisher. Maybe too far away on that one, as he used the boost just to make sure that's on target. He will steal a corner boost and get out. And then we'll have to see if Team Pacific Islands, now a little bit boost starved and definitely running low on a runway to be able to get their crafts off the ground. Struggling to get it out of their half right now. Team Japan trying to take advantage.
Yeah, but they're doing a good job of keeping the resources there for Pacific Islands. You've got all that boost from the exit player, but you've also got all the fuel in the tank there for Marquizzi, who is next to make their approach. So you talk about tiers, and I think it's been very solid for Pacific Islands. They take their roles, they reduce double commits, and it's allowing them to stay alive so far.
Also starting to see Team Japan take a different formation a little bit, as if Rocket League really has that. But you can see a deeper third coming through, just making sure nothing untoward happens, and maybe the two strikers can deal with it from there. Dead Prez can't get that double. Could have been another insurance goal as they're closing down the final seconds. Marquizzi looking to sneak one in. No such luck.
Undercooked egg got that last second, was able to get in position for that. Otherwise, that looked a little bit scary as Undercooked egg was rotating near side. It leaves you in a really awkward position for those chances at the double tap. So the Team Pacific Islands, I hate to say it, but maybe that was going to be one of your best chances to take the defense off guard from Team Japan, who seems a little more leaning on the defensive side to keep this score 2-1.
Undercooked egg putting it home, as again just lurking there, and there's the quick chat starting to drop the what a saves, and that's exactly when you want to put it there, when all the defense just staring at it as it goes right over their heads.
Yeah, that's a fair what a save. And then I think about the what a save that was called out when Undercooked egg had the pre-jump goal. Like that was more of an interesting one, but every goal matters the same. You look at the scoreboard, and a 2-goal lead nearly becomes the 3-goal lead as Dead Prez is denied. Olaf flip reset, pass over to Marquizzi, gets to Insane Lion, but that shot's off target.
Did say a comeback in the chat, but I don't know if he actually wants to give one up. Marquizzi certainly trying for one. No reset on that last attempt, but running out of boost, probably just better to leave it for everyone else, especially with a roll like that. That could set up Olaf well, but he doesn't quite angle it correctly, and I think, Pyro, that might do it, as with this amount of seconds, you got to get 2, and it's hard to even get 1 when you're trapped in your half. Team Japan not going down quietly. They'll take a game, and they're starting their journey trying to get a reverse sweep here in round number 2 against Team Pacific Islands.
I love it. At the professional stage, okay, 4-1, why not? One more for the tally. We look at reverse sweeps and best of 7, and we can kind of count them on one hand. But here in this competition where things can shift like a tidal wave, we look at Japan as an opportunity to put momentum back on their side.
Especially when they are going to have to really come down. Sometimes if they believe they're the best in this group, then already falling behind. I mean, game differential in group play, as we know, really important. Being able to figure out how far apart you really do stand from your competition trying to take home this trophy. So this could be just scouting, since no one, I believe, is eliminated from these group stages. So because of that, I think Team Japan is learning a bit more about how they need to play. And I like the adjustments, because not only was this just them converting more, but as you take a look at the shots differential from our stats and look at these replays, Team Japan had an overwhelming amount of the offense. It's just that the difference was this time they actually were able to convert on it instead of just kind of getting close, getting a save, and then getting countered immediately.
It has been a case so far today of Japan piling up the shot counts, but can they convert? And this time around, their shooting percentage much better than what we've seen so far for this match. Looks like we'll get a little bit of a delay to get our next game underway, as rarely the server will go down for maintenance, so we'll get another one spun up in no time. But you talk about, Taco, really interesting point, which is maybe this is just scouting as it's round robin. Realistically, though, I want to say that these teams are really fighting for that 1 seed, because we did get word of an off-stream match. The fact that Korea did go down to Alaska 1-4, which is a pretty convincing win for Alaska. So from what I can see, these 3 teams of Alaska, Pacific Islands, and Japan seem to be pretty strong squads and will want to have that 1-4 matchup when it comes to the semifinals.
Yeah, being able to guarantee, or at least from your perspective, a team that you can play against that it says, okay, we beat this team before, they're a lower seed, we can finish the top seed, that's great. But yeah, you do not want to be the second seed, especially just barely, having to get a much more difficult opponent and then have to duke that out. So as we have kind of waiting to see Team Alaska on broadcast, which we'll be able to see a little bit later, then yeah, we will have to witness kind of like what is all about. So I think that might weigh a little bit on Team Japan, figuring out, okay, well, we have to come back here, but more importantly, we just have to get the win. I think series win is the only thing you have to matter about. I think you have to have goldfish memory. Yeah, we lost those other games, but hey, we won the last one, and now we just got to focus on the next 5 minutes once this new server does indeed go up.
That's what you hear when you talk to the pros. Is what you hear from every level of really competition is focus on the next step ahead. Focus on that 5 minutes of gameplay, the one that now for Team Japan, they know they can come away with a win. And it's not just one they barely did either. 4-1 victory. 3-1 for the one with that 0-second goal is enough to convince this squad to get back on fire, back on their horse, and back in this series. Let's take it to Game 5.
Yes, and I cannot emphasize this enough, for this next game to see if Team Japan really can bring it home for their squad, for their region even, as we do see an immediate opener, or at least potential 4-1 from Mark Wizzy, but he's kind of cooled off, and not necessarily by his own real fault. It's just Team Japan, I think, locking him down a bit more on the defense.
We think about it, and it's like teams kind of showing their cards early, right? Mark Wizzy, to me, becomes that X factor of, with the solo play especially, you gotta jump at him. It's no surprise to see 2 defenders get in his face. That's the kind of guy you want to defuse as quickly as you can.
Balls, you've seen an air dribble in the last game. Now he's going for a bump on top of it. Deadbra is going to have to rescue things, or more importantly, slow things down so everyone gets back, as Team Japan, I feel like more than any other team I've seen in a while, is not afraid to send the entire house to make sure the defense knows that you will have pressure on your goal. Granted, with Mark Wizzy upfield, maybe Team Pacific Islands only needs that one. That's going to be a miss. Foul through over the bar. Olaf getting a 50. Mark Wizzy wants another bite. Nope, he will gladly turn around and play sweeper.
Some misses make for the best passes, but on that play, you'd hope for a quicker conversion out of Team Pacific Islands. They're trying to make something work, as they have probably more possession, a percentage of it when you compare it to the previous game, but unfortunately just not able to convert the best chances. That being said, this is not the way you want your team to look. All 3 up for the ball. It takes some serious, well, I don't want to say luck, but by pure happenstance, they're able to get the next stop. That was not looking pretty.
No, and neither does the double commit from Team Japan. And honestly, off the sidewall, they could be able to get dispossessed again. Mark Wizzy will assure himself of that. In fact, do even better than that. He's going to set up Olaf, returning the favor from the earlier match.
The dynamic duo, Mark Wizzy and Olaf. They seem to be working on one thread today, as if one tees up, the other is prepared to send it through. 1-0 lead, but as Team Pacific Islands knows, they'll need more than just a goal, most likely, to win this one.
Ooh, how about a 2? Insane Lion is trying to provide that, but unfortunately, no punchline to that. How about Olaf again, though, off the post? It's going to go just wide on the 4th defender and out. Team Japan going to wipe the sweat off their brow, say that's a close one, and gladly heave that one all the way downfield for maybe an immediate counter, but Ballsy not getting the power or the height he's looking for.
It's so promising after that kickoff, and it's all right because that means that you'll get more chances like that. You still got the lead. Pacific Islands, when we get to the end of this game, they may hope that they had that chance back. Ballsy does get a high touch as well as the midfield boost, but cutting right into that sequence is Olaf to set up, and it's a bit of a loose ball from Team Japan, unable to control it. On backboard, Mark Wizzy fighting for just a little bit of a resilient effort there to play the ball as they're getting a little bit hassled. The players of Team Japan. Here come Pacific Islands, though. Save made by Uncooked Egg. Zero boost on this play, but still able to make a push out.
Oh, and a bump for Ballsy. I mean, Dead Prez left almost alone, if not for Ballsy getting back in there, actually fighting against the cyberbully attempt and still being able to get back. I mean, that's just persistence and kind of what's required when you're dealing with Team Pacific Islands kind of cycling through rotation after rotation on offense.
Yeah, they're trying to wear them down, but each and every time, Team Japan find themselves on the yellow end of the field, and that allows your teammates to grab boost. That allows your teammates to get another long clear to reset, and every chance that Team Japan get to reset, they bring this clock down farther and farther. I mentioned the fact that Pacific Islands, you need more than one goal to win this game, but the closer we get to 1 minute remaining, I don't know how true that is.
And right now they're going to hold on to it, even though Team Japan feels like they have a lot of momentum, and this could be a great way to capitalize on it. However, the read is red by our yellow side, and therefore we will be able to see Dead Prez try to circle back around. Problem is he only has so much help. Maybe here comes Ballsy and Undercooked Dead, double commit, and yet it's still wide.
It's these high, tense moments where you know you need the goal. Someone's got to be there for the shot, and well, if you double commit, that's just a product of the attempt. But truthfully, for Rocket League, you're looking for the sequence, you're looking for the rebound to make sure you're communicating well in these high pressure moments is of utmost importance, especially as Pacific Islands is coming that much closer to a 2-goal lead, and that's what they'll take with Olaf securing goal.
Oh, it's so tough as well because Undercooked Egg, honestly, he's playing for 50 and doesn't even do that bad of a job, but Insane Lion just gets a flawless contact on the backflip. It doesn't deflect, it doesn't go to the corner, it doesn't go straight in the sky. It just kills itself right into the middle. Easy tap in, and now it's on Team Japan to hopefully cook up something off of this kickoff. That is not the touch Undercooked Egg's looking for, but the finish from Dead Prez also was lacking. Put it back in the middle again. Undercooked Egg met by Olaf, and it seems like every single time Japan goes forward and tries to ask a question, Pacific Islands has the answer.
The answers they have had, they will get a A on their report card, it seems. The A+, give it away with that 1-game win out of Team Japan. Game 5, it is secure. Team Pacific Islands take out Team Japan after their own sweep on the day. Will keep this Rocket League competition shuffling.
And you can see him on the right, Team Pacific Islands. I mean, they're happy, leaning back, understanding, yeah, that was a grind, but it took a lot of effort to be able to get to that point, but it looked also at the same time pretty clean. Clearly, a lot of chemistry, playing together, rotations look good, but I gotta say, definitely mechanically, a team you do not want to give a lot of space to in the midfield. They were setting up things every which way. They're even going for some sidewall skims, so, I mean, really, you got to lock in for Team Pacific Islands. Definitely looking like the favorites, as I believe that should secure them at least their first series win. Get an update on their first round, but definitely one of the favorites, I'd have to think.
I'd have to think as well, especially with how hot Japan came out in their first matchup with Pacific Islands looking this good, it's going to take a brawl for teams to compete with them each and every time in this round robin competition. And then when we get to days 3 and 4 of this competition over there in the playoffs, I was also looking for Pacific Islands. I mean, this new team that is to the broadcast, right? Who is is there a weak link, right? Is there a weakness that other teams can kind of take advantage of when they're in that competition? I don't think there is, right? I remember reading the team bios, one and only Olaf, and he's saying, well, I'm new to the competitive gameplay. It's like, okay, so even if you're an experienced Rocket League player, maybe you don't have the grit that it takes to compete on land. That's not true, Taco. Olaf was popping off.
And honestly, some players actually perform better when they're in person and they actually have their teammates right next to them. So who really knows if anyone's getting the land buff? All we do know is that it is definitely a good sign for a squad to be able to play like that, because so far we've had a decent amount of one-sided games. And honestly, I feel like we didn't really get everything kind of like squeezed out. I feel like if it was a towel and we're trying to wring out the content, and we didn't quite get every drop out of that one. I feel like Team Japan had more to say, but luckily, if we are circling back later on, especially into tomorrow, we will be able to see a run back a little bit here at the Yokota Air Base in Tokyo, Japan, for the PACAF Esports Championship. As we've mentioned, first year we're getting Rocket League here, and therefore the first time we get a chance to be able to sit down a little bit with a member of the Pacific Islands squad for a quick little interview. One and only Olaf, the one and only player that personally I want to talk to within this interview context, as we do bring him over to the interview box. And there he is. Congrats on your 4-1 victory there. I mean, they got one to deprive you of the sweep, but excellent show. And how are you guys feeling?
Yeah, absolutely great. It's been so fun. This being the first time, we're lucky to be here. So,
well, talk to me about what it took to even get here. Like, what was it like bringing the squad together as a team? Like, how did you guys find each other to become a team? And tell me about your own individual preparation to compete. And maybe Taco, you have to take this one over, because I don't know if he can hear me.
Well, he said you mentioned like, oh, okay, we're lucky to be here, but like, do you mean that in the sense of like you barely got here, or you're just like blessed to be here? Because like, what was it like to bring the roster together?
It was really fun. You know, I mean, we didn't really expect anything of it, so just like showing up to the Hickam local tournament with a couple of buddies, just to have fun in a tournament bracket. We didn't really expect any of this like this big. I mean, experiencing this alone is it's so cool. So
I mean, we all love regional lands, especially being able to come over to Tokyo. I mean, you guys are also still out in the Pacific Islands, anything like that. But you said it's a little surreal. Have you played like, I guess, within like a LAN environment before, or has it mostly just been kind of those like small locals, as you mentioned, over at Hickam?
Yeah, it's always been local. I mean, this is technically our third tournament, like basically, like other than the Rocket League scheduled tournaments normal, but like this is our first time on a LAN, so it's been crazy, really cool, fun experience.
I love that you're having a good time. And let me check, Olaf. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Awesome. Okay, great. We got that fixed up. I want to talk a little bit about the game, because I was trying to tell, all right, who's the sharpshooter? Who's the big player? I saw your double tap pass at one point for a great goal, but I don't know. It felt like your whole team was popping off and firing on all cylinders. Is there a key strength that you feel like you guys rely on your team, or is it just a full squad play style?
I think it's just overall play style, but I think anything specifically would have to be just communicating. Being able to talk to each other and know where we are on the field is like a major aspect of the game. So being able to have levels to our defense and to offense, that's got to be the main point.
Yeah, and being able to pull that all together, looking good. We did talk to Ballsy earlier from Japan, and he thinks he's going to sweep all their series. Clearly didn't quite work out because you guys came along. And so I kind of want to get a semblance of where you guys project yourselves. You guys said, it's super great to be here. We're having fun. But, like, where do you see your guys finishing here for this type of qualifier, trying to qualify for that DEF World Championship a little bit later on?
Well, after that game, obviously I see ourselves as first place, I mean, the only 2 games we've played, we've gone 4-1 in series, so I'm pretty confident. My team is confident. We're having fun, so I think we'll be first.
Love it.
Well, excellent to hear that. And so, therefore, we're going to let you get back to your team because you still got one more round, at least today, just to be able to prep for. But want to give you a chance. Any shout-outs you want to give before we let you get back to your squad?
Shout out my team and my administrator. Extra Fate is his handle. He's been great, communicating all the details and stuff to us. And then shout out my wife if she's watching.
There you go. You got to make sure you get that last one. Otherwise, you're going to hear it. You're going to get a text. So.
Absolutely.
Good to hear from you, Olaf. Good win, and best of luck to you in the next round.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh man, that was a close one. That last call out. I always give the shout out just in case, so you give him a little brownie points there. But no, he got it in, and of course, clutch decision making on and off the field from one and only Olaf. I mean, Team Pacific Gods, so impressive. Team Japan, maybe a bit more to think about going into round 3.
Maybe, and listen, to have kind of that punch in the mouth to say, hey, this is a wake-up call, you've got some serious competition in this tournament, is a good thing, right? This is the first day of round-robin competition for Team Japan. They're looking at this match saying, okay, I'm glad we had this wake-up call because we're going to come back swinging harder on the next matchup. But out of Pacific Islands and out of Olaf, I'm no longer convinced they're new to competitive gaming. From that flawless game to the flawless interview tactics that we saw there at the end, he's a seasoned vet.
Exactly, and he's going to have to continue that because, again, this is just round 2, and now we're going into 3 after a short break. We'll be back with some more PACAF Esports Championship live from the Yokota Air Base in Tokyo after this.
What I would do for you. What I would do for you. What I would do for you. What I would do for
Hello and welcome back to some more PACAF Esports Championship here on the Rocket League broadcast. We are 2 series down. We got one more, at least for the first half of group stage. It's going to be Korea and Pacific Islands up next. Pyro, I mean, it's been an exciting match. We finally have seen like a bunch of these different teams play, but this is a combination we're seeing for the first time.
It is, and we need that in round robin, because while Rocket League is a tale of strong teams versus developing teams at times, it's also a tale of play styles. Some teams like to go demo heavy or set up the high level mechanical plays. Others like to keep it to the fundamentals. So I think we're getting a really good mix up on. Team Korea did suffer that sweep loss against Japan earlier, first to last, Babs the Boon striking Dawn, but we saw the lightning in a bottle moments from them. And then, well, Taka, we got Team Pac Islands who have been popping off.
Yeah, so we do have Insane Line, One and Only Unloft, and then we have Mark Wizzy, who I believe is also Y, depending on which one they want to go for. But we do see Team Korea here in first or last, Babs the Boon and Striking Dawn. As you mentioned, not exactly the way that this group stage has been going for them. They unfortunately took a 1-4 loss against Team Alaska a little bit earlier on, but at least getting that first victory, I mean, they're halfway there. It's about playing that great defense, and they're going to have to deal with that a lot because Team Pacific Islands putting on a show in our second series of the day against Team Japan.
Indeed, yeah, and that was Olaf on the far right side, who we had just heard from in the break, and they were smiling from ear to ear. They were saying that this event, this experience itself has just been an incredible one. So, you know, when you're doing it on the field and you're feeling the excitement as well between you and your teammates, you know it's a good time.
Yeah, it can be really difficult to be able to actually lock in and also understand the stakes at play here, as I think we have seen Team Alaska put on a decent show so far, and I think Team Japan, you could even notice they were actually in that left camera leaning forward. It was ballsy, kind of just being like, okay, we kind of need to really lock in here. We've taken our loss. They thought it was just going to be pretty straightforward, but that's what happens when you play in your base, you play with the people in your region, and it's going all fine, and then every once in a while you're playing against some brand new people from a base a couple thousand miles away, and you're like, oh no, we got to lock in. So I suppose that's a universal feeling, because we're going to have to see them lock in even more, because we do have Pacific Islands and Korea coming up here on the broadcast to round out day one of the group stage. And here we go.
All right, it's time to get it started. Game number 1 of our final best of 7, as we just mentioned, in the group stage. Pacific Islands with an opportunity to go with another win, a 3rd win on the day, to go flawless, whereas Korea is looking to bounce back, and the Boon will get us started to do that.
And Olaf actually kind of underplaying this one, unfortunately. Just goes right into the middle, kind of uncharacteristic, but I think honestly they might have just gotten a change up to it. Sometimes you get a pitch that's a little bit slower than you're thinking, you hesitate, and you hit it where you're not really intending to, but that's fine for them. Maybe they could just get on back with Mark Wizzy off kickoff. That is a reset in the back pocket, going for a musty, and does not click. Right back into our yellow half.
Yeah, not quite. We talked about those style points trying to be activated in this game, and a lot of the most stylish plays in Rocket League are some of the most effective. as Marquizzi is going to have to go back to the foundations of Rocket League to get that save. And they'll have to do it again, but they won't. Korea from Striking Dawn has a long ball goal.
And that's why you always got to test that out, just get that decent amount of power. And you can see Insane Lion actually lined up pretty well, but I think halfway through he realized that ball isn't going straight toward him. It's kind of going from his left to his right and not able to actually angle the car. So 2 down here for this team, Pacific Islands, coming in as, I would say, the favorites based on really everything we know about the box score stats. And yet it is Team Korea putting up a good defense, but even better, they're putting stuff away on offense.
It's those key moments, I think, downfield that is really helping Korea right now. Those long shot goals are so well and on target that I think it's taking Pacific Islands a bit back to say, hey, there may not be a safe place in this on this field for the ball to be. It's always scoreable right now for Korea as they're 2 up with 1:30 already into the game.
And what a difference also in confidence and also proficiency we're seeing from Korea. First series on stream, Japan was kind of just running in circles, but really just feel like Korea is getting on these reads quickly. Thing is, they need to make sure they're doing it well on defense, especially on that backboard. Marquizzi tried to test it, but looks like that is a test that Korea does pass, and now they're just going to send a catapult out to be able to clear that one to the far side yet again.
Yeah, a lot of the in the power shots, it feels like, as they've translated into goals, and really Sean clears, but lacking on the points of the defensive side as Olaf secures the first.
Yeah, Striking Dawn, unfortunately, in kind of an awkward position. Not really a winning strategy either way because he has to take that one to the corner. 0 boost. Do I flick it? Do I play for a 50? He tries to be able to get that delayed flip, but it doesn't quite work out. It's dunked in the middle, and then we know the rest with one and only Olaf. He doesn't need really a lot of invitations to be able to get a score on the board.
Not whatsoever. Repping their team on the field and off as well, as we heard from them in the interview. See if Korea punch back here. It is the Boone once again near the goal line. I think that ball would have found the face of the net, but let's translate back to a defensive stance, first or last. Kicking in the corner, Marquizzi, patient as ever, trying to lure the Boone in, and certainly does, but looks like Babs wants more than just that. Gets the demolition to put this ball into neutral play.
Striking Dawn again, getting great contact as well as first or last. Does not fall for the fake there for Marquizzi, so therefore here we go again with potential Korean attack. Babs putting in for Striking Dawn. He can't quite beat out Marquizzi, who's just trying to dodge away from the demos, much less than be able to keep possession. Honestly, a lot of thoughts rushing through their mind right now. Pacific Islands honestly a little confused right now. It seems like they just can't get into a rhythm on these rotations.
No, it's so hard to with this ball whipping around the court at top speeds, and for any redirect to be taken as well. What a touch there for Marquizzi to get this offense fired up. Olaf would love a little more boost to get to that ball. Instead, it's cleared away. First or last, headed towards the net. It takes 2 from Pacific Islands to save that one, and a good read from Marquizzi to clear that too. One and only Olaf just a little bit behind the play. You can tell they're trying to amp up the tempo of this game to make way for that second goal.
Korea pushing everybody forward. I think they realized halfway through, oops, and then they're immediately trying to get back. But honestly, a lot of good challenges, taking away angles right now. But thing is, you got to be foolproof, because if you creep up, Olaf is going to see it. He'll strike over the top for a second.
Well, he's the one and only. Of course he is. 2 for 2 in this game. 100% shooting percentages. Sure, Korea's not giving them a whole lot of time or opportunities to get the shots, but when they do, Olaf secures it.
Insane Lion able to tap that one down. Babs off the backboard. That's going to be pretty hard to read for first or last, but he will actually maybe think about it. Problem is, what happens to the counter? Striking Dawn miscalculates, and unfortunately, that is going to be the goal that sends them behind.
Oh no, and just trying to get back in time, trying to get the boost, get to defensive positioning. There's too much going on all at the same time. A lot of weight on the shoulders, and sometimes that forces players to collapse. Those 3 goals from Pacific Islands puts them in the lead, and they might just have momentum to get a 4th.
Insane Lion to the ceiling. Maybe a tap back or just a lead. Mark Wizzy looking for a double tap. That's a classy setup. The finish will not follow, though. Post says no. And first or last, also doing a lot of rejection. That one in the midfield, if only temporarily. Mark Wizzy on the putback, striking Dawn. Living up to the tail, though, this time. Still able to get those clears. This is a bit more of the Pacific Islands that we were used to. Really trying to pour it down. Make sure they slot these, and yet still being met with the Korean wall up until a deflection rears its ugly head.
Mark Wizzy had a great double tap chance, a great laser shot opportunity. Neither went, but this exit route from the net is the one that goes. Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time, and that was the case for Mark.
Yeah, there's only so many times you go for this spectacular miss, and then the game just says, okay, fine, we'll give you this one. That just allows it to roll right into you for the easiest tap-in of the day. But nothing was easy about this game one. It was really a grinder to come back for Pacific Islands. An excellent effort, though, by Team Korea. Nothing to get discouraged about. We're just getting started.
If you're going recency bias with this game, you're thinking, well, yeah, Pacific Islands, I mean, they had control in the series. They had most of the pressure. At the end of it all, still more shots registered at the end of this game from Team Korea. Even if it is one more shot, it does remind you that, well, yeah, Team Korea had this game pretty much all the way up until Pacific Islands started rolling.
I do like the lack of hesitation on some of these shots. I mean, we see the second goal actually was just them chucking it downfield as hard as possible from striking Dawn. You might say, that's a little impulsive. Maybe keep it closer. Maybe try to play for an air dribble or just a loft you can follow up. But sometimes you do see the defense in a weird position and you're saying, I want to see how you deal with that. And I think that is pretty valid. Even a team like Team Pacific Islands will be caught off guard from time to time, and you got to be aware of that.
I mean, you talk about the game of just forcing errors, right? Disruptive plays. You got to get a team out of their flow state, and if you can put them in those uncomfortable positions, a lot of the time you can find some of those favorable touches that will get you through. Korea and Pacific Islands, I think, both employing that strategy, but only one can do it best. Get the game two to see who ends up on top.
Well, right off the rip, it looked like Olaf was looking for a double. Problem is, it was too heavy, so let's try again on the finesse route. Maybe a lighter touch, as that one did get right in the middle, but no one really anticipating that one getting all the way through. Olaf, another 50, but a good deflection. Korea looks like the defense is holding up somewhat similarly to what we saw in game one, and they're definitely going to need a lot more of that, but maybe a clear for right now will put them on for their first real attack.
It could, but then there's Olaf, who has been such a difference maker in this series. Not only getting the clear, but the setup. Mark Wizzy, flip reset, double tap. Will not be found. In fact, that's Insane Lion, the last defender caught out.
That's a tough one. Insane Lion, not in a bad position, but right there you can see backing up, which takes your momentum. Even when you tap it, if you're standing still, that ball's going to pop up and to the side, maybe if you get a side flip, but because they're traveling backwards, all the momentum kind of gets canceled out. But still credit to striking Dawn, not hesitating, not seeing where it's going to go, trusting that they know the deflection will go in their path and get a goal. And off kickoff, they will not allow that one to go through. Babs the Boon getting back in time, but can they stop him again? Double commit on the goal line, but the save still coming through.
I love that first touch from Olaf. It was soft enough that they could have gotten the dunk on the save. Wasn't maybe the double tap that you'd hope for, and this shot won't have the momentum that could translate to a goal. At least I didn't think so. Olaf just gets it through.
I like the prescience from Olaf, going back, seeing two players go for it. And sometimes you just want to jump immediately and meet the ball in the air. But if you notice that they're traveling a little slow, you know it's probably going to be a giveaway. And you know, even better, if you look up, it might just be an open net. Nice equalizer from Olaf. And again, showing off the awareness, just as important as the mechanics.
Oh, it is indeed. I mean, game sense can play a critical role in how you maneuver around this field. We talked about plays where Mark Wizzy was just right place, right time. That's all you need in some of these Rocket League circumstances. But how about some mechanics? That can flesh out for some plays as well, huh? Flip reset setup for Mark Wizzy.
Man, the poor back post defender. Babs goes in, striking Dawn goes in. And first last says, wait, I have to be there? Yes, you are indeed last in that rotation. So he turns around in time, but Olaf is there to crash. Opportunistic finish, 66% shooting, 90 seconds in to give him a lead.
Yeah, it's dirty right now. I mean, this is gamer filth, which is not a bad thing. it's something where players are just in their flow state. They're in the zone, and they're working together on these plays as well. It's another passing play from Pacific Islands that sets up a goal.
Yeah, a bit too much on their plate for first or last. You see Mark Wizzy coming in and just lofting it up. You can see almost first or last thought, based on the approach, it was going to be a bit slow, where you can see them dive in immediately, not anticipating that it was actually just going to be an elevated touch. It looks simple, but I think it's really just a defender almost feeling like it's a penalty kick. They just have to guess aside and go for it. And unfortunately, that was not the right choice on that iteration. However, Babs may be able to get it back. That's an excellent pass. A little high. How about the third striking Dawn? Striking one home for a second.
It's been teamwork making the dream work today. You see Babs take the alternate path towards the net, find a teammate. First or last does the same thing. We've seen every goal in this game go assisted for good reason. Everyone's trying to employ the other to get to that goal.
And it's especially good to see from Korea, because they're clearly not just like driving around disconnected from each other. The comms are locked in. They're getting their follow-throughs. They just need to make sure the rotations are clean. No own goal from Striking Dawn that time, and they'll retreat out to get some boost. So the rest of his teammates will do the same. Babs into open space with a decent roller, and he's going to get that follow as well. Rolls it past insane line, or at least part of it. The Striking Dawn gets a bounce. Wait a minute, there's first or last. That's an open shot, and he's going to slot it for a tie game.
What a turnaround right now for Team Korea. I mean, they're locking in on these possession plays and making sure that no opportunity goes untaken for. I love that from first or last, slotting it right through. And they done it again on kickoff. Nearly as it's a pass off the backboard. Striking Dawn is there, but can't quite convert.
In fact, it's not even that good of a clear right now. It's two Pacific Islands kind of looking at each other like, wait, guys, let's take a deep breath. Let's make sure we actually get this out. Unpressured, and that ball is just ricocheting all over the place. And now here comes another one, actually, as Insane Line is going to shield the ball back. Babs Zavoon tries to get the pass off, but good read by Insane Line. Can he get the slot from that angle? Yes, sir!
Insane Line has been the unsung hero of Pacific Islands. 3 assists in the previous game, 2 assists in this game already. But how about the first goal for them in this series to top it over the line?
And it's one of those core fundamentals: strike through, trust your angle, and then just go for it. Mark Wizzy, I mean, he knows something about an angle or two from the corner off the kickoff. Doesn't pull off the spectacular, but does keep the pressure going. Insane Line, he's looking for something insane. We'll miss that one. Wizzy, cut past one, tries the fake. But first or last, able to get the save, keep Korea in it.
That was my favorite image of the game right there from Insane Lion, but stealing the show, as they have been, is Mark Wizzy. All these fake plays. I mean, you saw the last possession be Insane Lion set up the double tap, but he was nowhere near the ball. And then you have the pass from Olaf, like going underneath the ball, leaving it for Mark Wizzy. There's so much trust between these Pacific Island players.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to continue, especially since Korea has kind of found this flow state. They've been not great in terms of series score, but clearly the offense starting to click. The issue is Pacific Islands does not need too much of an invitation. That's a red carpet right down the middle that one and only Olaf will take full advantage of.
I mean, yeah, Olaf could have darted that in immediately, but decides to put the opponents in a pressure cooker. Says, let me wait on this, let it marinate a little, and then I'll strike for the 6th goal.
Being able to grow the lead and not only putting their stamp on this game, try to go 2-0 up in the series, but more importantly, I think just to remind themselves, hey, I feel like we are the more mechanical team, we're the faster team, let's play like it. And I think Korea's been able to keep things close, but this is the first time we've seen them really start to fall behind and lag behind the ultimate skill that we did see in that Japan series just the one series ago on broadcast. Granted, not going to stop Korea from trying to get forward. Problem is boost will. Babs can only do so much. How about that for a demo? But immediate follow through by who else but Olaf.
That's right, yeah, Olaf's been behind a lot of these top tier plays from Pacific Islands, and this is really a team who just isn't able to be pushed back, isn't able to be weathered, because they went 3 uncontested from Korea, but decided, okay, we're just gonna score 3 more. I mean, they just don't back down. They keep the tempo right up there, And they force some awkward plays there out of their opposition. Korea put in a lot of work in this game, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, just seeing Korea start to panic a little bit. And honestly, I think that when they are kind of more locked in, they're not trying to overcomplicate things. I think it's fine. Granted, I think part of it is they're kind of writing this game off and just kind of goofing around, getting touches since they understand 3-goal margin already a lot. 4, forget about it, especially with 12 to go. Team Pacific Islands got away from it a little bit. If Korea can just regain, honestly, I don't really see a reality in which they can't come away with the game here. It's just about keeping their opponent's offense at bay, and that is a task and a half. Insane line at 0 seconds. How about that one? Goal number 8, and that's going to put him on 2 goals, 3 assists, and yet still bottom of the leaderboard somehow with this offensive output.
At bottom of the leaderboard, not bottom of the impact for me when they're teeing up their true sharpshooters in this series. Olaf and Mark Wizzy on another level when it comes to the shot taking, the scoring. We talk about some of the teams that have just had more of the pressure, and having more shots allows for more opportunities, but you have a conversion rate of, is that 8 for 12? I mean, there's got to be a little more resistance from the side of Team Korea.
And it was tough because maybe it was just Team Pacific Islands understanding the rhythm they have to get into, since I always talk about how Rocket League almost feels like chemistry, where you play one team and you think it's a transitive property. Like, okay, if this team beat this other team and we beat the team that beat them, then maybe we're the best. But no, really, sometimes there are certain play styles that just kind of grind your gears. It goes against what you expect. And I think there was an adjustment period where Team Pacific Islands are like, I don't really know the speed I'm supposed to be playing at. So let's try to figure this one out. And now that they maybe have, we'll have to see if Korea has done the same. They have to counter it. It is always kind of a chess match for these teams, and we'll see if Team Korea has learned anything. Down the stretch got sloppy, but they can lock back in, especially with a fresh restart.
And you'll have to say that this fresh restart, right, the between game break is all the adaptation you need to make, but that's just not the case. It's going to be dynamic as the game goes on, and already Pacific Islands and their defense tested to their limit.
Not really something I often see. 2 players in the sidewall, but more importantly, First Blast took that kickoff, I believe, and then just kept driving forward. They were like, yeah, why not? Let's just see where this goes. Excellent play there, as that's going to be a very quick opener, and immediately Team Pacific Islands, I don't think is going to sit there and take that, especially if Olaf is cherry picking, if not for Babs the Boon.
Ooh, that's a wonderful counter to make, and Mark Wizzy, pretty tough position to be in, had to play the shot and the bounce in case it was faked. Managed to make the block that was necessary, and now has some space to work with. Look at Olaf as well, upfield in search of that bump demo or boost steal, just to make sure Team Korea don't find some rhythm that puts Pacific Islands out of this game. Striking Dawn, though, doesn't want to make the effort look easy from Pacific Islands with that stop that Babs the Boon finds as well. Problem is Olaf gets the pass off the backboard. It goes uncontested, and that is bread and butter for Mark.
That read bounces up a little high, but ultimately we might be able to see whether or not that actually does go through on the follow through. We don't have to wait that long, and Team Pacific Islands, I mean, they're showing that they're fast enough. They can just leap on top of some of these reads when you give them just a little bit of a glimmer of a hope. So definitely from Team Korea, keeping it out of the middle, probably priority number 1 on any of these clears.
That's right, you don't want to see the space taken advantage of by players like Mark Wizzy, who, you know, in some opportunities will just create their own space, but on that midfield play, it was Striking Dawn to turn that into a shot. First to last, playing more of a deep rotation to make sure they can guard that half-court line. With the help of Babs the Boon, they're able to do that. Now Babs with full boost decides to take it high. Mark Wizzy getting nearly bumped by their own teammate. Both of them climbing up the backboard at the same time and nearly taking advantage of that. Kind of miscommunication was Team Korea.
Someone got to get off that backboard, otherwise that could be the penalty. Mark Wizzy, ever so patient. He knew what awaited him, and he's going to bag a second.
Yeah, this one, another high ball from Team Pacific Islands, and you can start to tell the trend right now for Team Korea on defense. You've got to have that backboard defense in place, or you have to have the read off the backboard. Both teams that are seemingly a little on the difficult side for Team Korea.
A lot of difficulty required of all these saves, especially if another one is off the backboard. Babs, though, said, I've seen that before. I do not want to have to relive it again. Does get that first clear, and is tasked with dealing with Mark Wizzy first off and can only do so much. Another lob up, Olaf, open shot, and he will not disappoint.
Uh-oh, here come Team Pacific Islands. When you allow them to get streaks like this, they don't tend to stop. We saw that in their previous match against Team Japan, getting those first 3 wins in the series. They're on pace for that again.
Striking Dawn trying to make sure that they can get back in, as they have been pretty instrumental in the offense, but ultimately it can be tough to be able to get involved on the defense, typically the last back, and now a chance to be the first up. That deflection right to first or last off the power shot. A little bit of a change up. Mark Wizzy jumped early. Still just enough time to get that save. Wet boost over ball. Is that a mistake? No. No one creeping up for Korea. They're going to all retreat and hopefully solidify the back line.
What a bold attack here. Unbelievable from Pacific Islands. You've got 2 players in the corner. And then you have Insane Lion saying, you know what? 3's a company. Let's send everybody for the number 4.
And again, it's just such a clean build-up, only because everybody is ready in their right position. As you mentioned, there's 2 players in the corner, but they trust that they're going to get that beat off in the corner. And then right as it lobs in the middle, if they don't go immediately, it could get dunked away. They do, so it's going to be a 4th goal, and well-earned from Team Pacific Islands. Like we said, a little bit of a slow start, but they're cooking right now as they start to really get their feet underneath them.
And every possession seems so deadly because you have these hard passes off the backboard, but now you have the demolitions, now you have the bumps you see on your screen, and it's all creating chaos right now for Team Korea. Can they translate that chaos into a little bit more of some calm? They would like that, but Mark Wizzy may not allow it. Tried to strike the top corner there, wouldn't go.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work out, but, you know, I like the confidence to be able to quick shot that one, and even if it doesn't go in, doesn't much matter. You're kind of just playing for highlights or playing for something cool right here, at least based on their general momentum. Shot differential really not that different, but you can tell just based on the rotations, a lot more midfield control from Team PI. Even 1-0 boost, one and only Olaf is more than comfortable just escorting that ball downfield.
Another clear that looks like Team Pacific Islanders are going to have all the time in the world to control upfield. Insane Lion, a bouncer towards the net that first or last will do a pretty good job handling. I like that kind of softer first touch. It allows them to nearly get a goal across the field and probably start up a possession here. Babs the boot with an attempted pass off their own backboard, but that does just create all the momentum for a long clear out of Team Pacific Islands. This could be the last chance, really the final hope here for Team Korea as they nearly get the counterattack goal, but Insane Lion is this time the one to counter.
Yeah, and it's also a great recovery as well. You can see Pacific Islands getting forward, and you're just realizing in 3s, you don't have that amount of space. You don't have as many counterattacks to go through, so you have to hit it as hard as possible, and if you don't, then teams be able to get back. It's something Pacific Islands were definitely showing off against Japan, not afraid to just play at Mach 5 and just drive around, constantly pressuring, and you can see the effect it's having on Team Korea, albeit still being able to resist partly, as they are able to get at least something back down the field, maybe get something from morale, or maybe not. Looks like Game 3, a lot like the first 2. It is Team Pacific Islands coming away with it, and maybe with another 0-second goal with that rejection. I guess not, as we're back to the other side, and Team Korea will end this one with the clear.
Got to give kudos to a team who go a second series in a row, winning the first 3 games. This team knows how to get started and come through in a series off hot. I think they did that the same here in game number 3. It felt like they had 100 boost in the tank of this game and used it in the first half. Those 4 goals were really kind of all they needed after they just settled into the series and secured themselves the win. I want to call out players like Insane Lion again. I mean, we talked about their ability to be a playmaker, get all those assists. On that last rotation, they played a great third man to get the recovery in time. But how about Olaf this time, the one with the playmaker title? 3 assists along with their 1 goal.
Yeah, ideally, when we think about Rocket League, we think of play styles that players tend to inhibit, or inhabit. But ultimately, everyone has to be able to step up. You can't have a play style that relies on one player. Everyone needs to be able to get goals. And I think from both squads, honestly, all 4 squads that we were able to see in previous matches, that's exactly what happened. But this time, what happened is that we did not have a player rejoin the lobby. I think they might have been kicked. So probably gonna have to go to the admin on this one and bring us a little bit of a resolution on that. But yes, we will be waiting for continuation of Game 4, seeing if Pacific Islands can finish out a sweep. And again, finish out a really solid day of games that they're playing in Part 1 of our group stage.
Yeah, another reminder that in this group stage with the round robin gameplay, it's all about seeding into that playoff scenario in days 3 and 4. And with how tight the competition is, you do want that number 1 seed to get the easier bid to the finals. So right now, that's what we see Team Pacific Islands really working towards, is that chance at the number 1 seed. And hopefully we get the opportunity to see exactly that, Taco, if we can get this game reset. That being said, I don't know. Did we not have the agreement that if one player couldn't be in the lobby, one of us was going to jump in with our 160 plus ping? I thought that was
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, honestly, I mean, I'm from Texas. You're in Pittsburgh, I believe. So it's like, basically, I mean, I don't even want to think about what Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Japan ping would be. You have to be hitting 180 or something like that, like around there. It is not pretty. I mean, we talk about that all the time, but maybe it's just like, but it's also like internet infrastructure, because I've definitely been playing on like central servers, and there's someone who pops in with pretty high ping, and I'm like, oh, you must be from like, I don't know, like really bad internet in the West. Like, no, I'm playing from Japan. It's like, there's only 120 ping, so I need whatever they need. But regardless, yeah, we can't join in. It's against the rules. We'll have to get everyone back in the lobby, and admins are hustling, keeping us all involved and I guess informed based on what the lobby looks like. It looks like we do have a backup, so should be underway briefly, as this is, in a way, kind of a tech timeout for Korea to figure out how they want to approach this potentially final game of the series if they can't engineer a win.
I like that call. I think this is a great point for the team to reconcile some of the behaviors they've seen, say, okay, here's what's working right now, the best right now for Team Pacific Islands, especially when it comes down to improvements for this team. I think you do look at some of the backboard defense. Right now, PI is taking over on the tall passes off that backboard. You do want to give your team a chance to defend those kinds of plays. So we'll see if that's what we witness as Game 4 is underway. And, well, I guess Olaf doesn't need the backboard for every goal they score.
No, they do not. They only need a brief little invitation, and that is a quality reset. It might not look the prettiest, but it does its job. Baits in one defender, second defender goes, and then that reset is able to just barely squeak around him for our opener. And that is why kickoffs are so deadly. You can put it down right down the middle, kind of like this one, or you'll play it from the sidewall, pass the middle to Marquizzi. It's so simple, the little handoff.
So do you want to shoot this? Should I shoot this? No, you, please. I insist. Marquizzi says, all right, I'll score, I guess. 2 goals, 14 seconds. And think about, again, how much these players have enjoyed this experience. Olaf was going on and on about how this has just been one of the coolest things they've been able to do here with the Air Force. You can only think of how much they're enjoying it now with a lead in Game 4.
And being able to close out a solid day of games. I mean, that's what they said after that Japan game. They think they can take this all home, qualify in for that DAF World Championship later on in the summer. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to play across 2 days. And I think at least if they're going to finish out this Game 4 and clear out their first day like this, I think definitely that confidence is well-deserved. Thing is, still got to deliver on it. They have a good start here with 2. Maybe a third can help lock it down, but won't come through that clear. All 3 players involved in the clear.
Yeah, especially with what we saw in the matchup between Pacific Islands and Japan. That Game 4 was won by Japan, and all of a sudden, we had a series on our hands. So you're totally right to say that finishing factor has to be seen right now from Pacific Islands. Looked like they had a chance on that counterattack. That's a slow-rolling ball towards the players of Korea. And we'll play that right away. I don't like that clear from Marquizzi. It sets up a chance for Babs the Boon. Fortunately for them, their shot goes wide. All of them Sharp striking, does kick off the backboard, but again, it's tough to get this ball into a position to score here for Team Korea.
However, they might have a little bit of chance there. That's unfortunately the worst possible spawn for them, and maybe the best Mark Wizzy has ever had. He spawned right in front of that play at the exact angle they needed. And Team Korea's got to be shaking their head thinking that had to be their chance.
Yeah, 1 of 4 positions to spawn from, and it's right in front of the ball. You gotta love it. If you're Team Pacific Islands, you take anything that the game will hand you here. Very few RNG elements of this game. There's no RNG involved, though, in Babs the Boon, shaking it up. Saucy goal with the double jump.
Yeah, and Mark Wizzy's giving him a nice shot for this one because it looks so simple. But again, those are the ones that can be the most difficult to actually predict to the defender. You're thinking, okay, they have a flick. Maybe they're going to leave it and go for a bump. Maybe they're going to try to air dribble bump me. Or maybe they're going to try to do this. Wait, what? They just booped it? That's it? Okay, well, on me. I did not expect him to take that path. Good way to get back in it. But for how much longer, all 3 players up. Insane line, trying to put the dagger in and can't get it to go. And even worse, that could be a counterattack. How about a demo? Babs the Boon just tried to walk that one home and does.
Back to the fundamentals. Babs the Boon gets a clean one down the other line. And it's so important to illustrate the fact that Babs the Boon doing that on 0 boost to control a ball down the field with other people chasing you as quickly as they can. Do it with that level of control is really impressive from Boon.
Mark Wizzy off kickoff. We've seen that before from them, from that exact wall, but this time it looks like Team Korea has the answer. Now they got to make sure they do it again. Dangerous touch in the middle and a little bit of handoffs. First, Alaska going to take it. Not off the corner, off the side wall. Will go middle again, but again, quick aerial from Team Korea, keeping them locked in.
And that kind of mix-up gives the ball to a fully boosted Insane Lion who didn't expect to have the ball. So by pure happenstance, it was a great looking possession here from Pacific Islands that may end up in a goal for them. Right off the crossbar and then off the defender. The ball goes in. Could this game get any more unlucky for Korea?
Yeah, and even worse is that Mark Wizzy has a good recovery, but honestly, I would have seen that shot 10 times in a row and I would have predicted it bounces out or across, but not straight down in the middle. The worst possible angle. I mean, I don't really believe in luck in Rocket League, but when it comes to stuff like that, you're not reacting to that. That is purely just unfortunate based on how that went transpired. But hey, that's one away, and now there's one back, coast to coast from Babs.
I mean, listen, they added that unlucky quick chat for a reason. That's all I'm saying. But again, every time we bring it up, Babs the Boon just is that sharpshooter that sends it in. He has a teammate right now on 40 points. Meanwhile, Babs the Boon nearly at 600 in this game. Brother is putting the cape on and being the hero right now for Team Korea.
Especially getting the only save actually on the roster, but also all 3 goals on 3 shots. So clearly not really someone who needs too much of a look at it. You said sharpshooter, but can't get much sharper than that. Another save almost made, but missed out on, and eventually going to be cleared down the line yet again. A little bit of a self-pass from Olaf. He will be able to catch it, or the Mark Wizzy takes it off. Maybe a rare miscommunication, kind of an insight into where the Team Pacific Islands minds currently are.
I know where the mind of Team Korea is, and it is to feed the hot hand. Babs the Boon takes another shot, but that one's a light touch. Insane Lion clears it, and it looks more like volleyball than Rocket League. Long clears out and away the other side. Mark Wizzy tries to get the fake, and Babs the Boon will have absolutely none of it. Says, get out of here with that slow roll. We're coming right back at you.
I mean, Rocket League doesn't have faces or characters, but it's still comedy at times. Moments like that are so funny when you have a player try to delicately finesse their way through, and the other player goes, no, it just demos them away. So do like that kind of smash mouth approach we see from Team Korea, and so far it's serving them well. Thing is, you still need finesse from time to time, especially on these rotations. A little bit of deflection, it looked like, into Babs, but still gets the clear.
It's crunch time here. We haven't seen much of overtime today, but it looms here in game number 4 where survival is at stake in this round-robin matchup for Team Korea. Can they do it in regulation? It's Babs the Boon with 3 goals, trying to look for a 4th here. Saved by Insane Lion right off their own post. Barely getting it away, and finding the ground will take it to extras.
And that was an excellent shot as well. Nearly beat out both defenders as they were trailing away, but the post said no, and now we will go into OT. Korea not only fighting for their series life, but also trying to keep this one alive. Babs early jump and recovers just in time.
There's no getting past this player right now. Babs the Boon, if they're behind the ball, it's going to mean success for Team Korea just through the way they played this matchup. In Game 4, Striking Dawn set up for their team. That's a long clear. Babs the Boon was still fumbling to get boost in the corner, so only able to come alive later on as somebody from Team Pacific Islands gets a shot off. Now the pinch from Insane Lion. Olaf wants to be a little more upfield to get that game winner, the series winner, the final dagger, but it comes from Babs instead. This one too high. First or last follow-up shot is saved.
Man, the post really coming to the help of this Team Pacific Islands. That's a couple times now that Babs has been denied, and he's got to be shaking his head because all those misses don't mean anything unless they go between the sticks. And a minute into OT, no closer to capping a winner, but based on sheer momentum, you have to feel like Team Korea believes it could be them. All it takes, though, is one aerial for Mark Wizzy or one cut onto the near side, but not fast enough to get the follow.
Oh, there's fight for the mid boosted there that it seems like Pacific Islands may have won just because they came away with the possession, but Striking Dawn has other thoughts in mind. A minute 30 into this overtime, and it feels like any play could be the one to get the goal, as it's just first or last here on defense. Mark Wizzy cannot cut into the play to hand Pacific Islands their chance at success. And Insane Lion dealt with once again. The defense looking as formidable as they possibly could, but how do you play against the highlight aerial acrobatics from Olaf, getting the series winner?
And not only getting on top of that, but I was thinking, okay, I'm just looking at the third to get the clear. I did not even take my eyes off Olaf on purpose. I just thought he wouldn't be able to get to that, but he actually pre-flips and is able to twist himself into a dish while he was jumping from the corner. Unreal performance by him, and of course, an unreal performance by Pacific Islands in day one of group play. That will cap their sweep. Excellently done, and definitely putting a target on their backs for the rest of the teams trying to work their way through, qualify into that DAF World Championship.
And you know what? I'm going to come out of this match just thinking about Team Korea. They are fighters. This one you could easily lie down, take it, and say, all right, GG's. You had the upper hand, Team Pacific Islands, but no, until the dying moments of this game, they fought hard. So for Pacific Islands, yeah, you've got these wins, you've got the target on your back, but you're also very acutely aware that every team has what it takes to take this one all the way to the dying seconds.
Oh, Henry's taking a look at that final goal replay. I mean, you can see just how mechanical they can be, but also just how organized they can be. I really do want to pay attention to Team Korea, though, one last time and just be able to give them their flowers well. We mentioned, yeah, they look a little scrappy, but that looked so much better than our first match of the day that we saw them, and even just intraday improvement is so great. So that's why I'm so happy that seeing how they're playing in that last one, they are going to get a night's rest. They're going to come back tomorrow to complete group stage. I'm super curious to see what they look like now that they feel like they have their feet wet, they have that land jitters off them, and then be able to build on that, because they actually look like they were taking Team Pacific Islanders kind of to the edge on some of those plays. Like, let's not forget, they were pixels away from getting a post or crossbar in to end those games, get a win under their belt. So definitely a lot of flowers given to them, but of course, you know, a win is a win, and especially in a sweep as well. Game differential and series record looking stellar for Team Pacific Islands.
It is, and you mentioned intraday improvement. I think that's so important to highlight, because when you're playing on land and you get players that aren't really used to competing in person like that, there's actually a huge gap between, you know, what you're putting out there and what your true potential is once you just get more comfortable with that kind of approach. And so we definitely saw players get that comfort level, and you saw Team Korea playing at a much stronger level in that game 4 compared to maybe what we've seen earlier on the day. So for Team Korea, we're looking at them tomorrow to kind of exceed those expectations, because they look like they are exactly informed to do that, Danger Taco. And I hope we also see Team Alaska Because we didn't get to see them today.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be able to filter them in, but apparently the schedule was unforgiving on that one. So maybe we'll see him tomorrow. But at least for right now, who we will be seeing is Insane Lion coming to us from Team Pacific Islands, just being able to pick their brain a little bit. Insane Lion, I mean, GG again. It was looking a little scrappy at times, but you guys pulled through, got another sweep.
Thanks, yeah.
And so I guess just to follow that one up real quick, I mean, you got the win, and I feel like against Japan, you guys were all over the place. This game, it looked a little different. Did you not expect that, I guess, out of Team Career? Like, what went through your minds as that game, those games continued on?
I think Team Japan was the one we were worried about the most, so I think we were the most on top of it there. We were super communicating, and then after we ate, we were a little bit lazy, I guess. We weren't communicating as much when we were playing Korea. But after every game, we're reminding ourselves to keep communicating and keep on our rotations. That was our main thing, was rotations and communications.
I want to ask more about the communications Insane Lion, because it feels like whether you're talking about it or not, you've got a really good idea of where your teammates are going to be. We look at game number 1, came through with 3 assists. Look at game number 2, came through again with the most assists on the team. What does it take to have that level of forecasting to say, I know exactly the right place to put this ball for my team?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of communication. Somebody's saying, they're back, or they can't get back, or if they're forward, I'm just trying to keep everybody and the whole field in my view, so that way I know where everyone's at and I know when I can go or when I can't go. I think my teammates are definitely a lot faster, so I find myself behind them and I can see when they're ready to go and when they can go. So that keeps me ready to catch anything that everyone misses.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys didn't miss much, especially when the offense was clicking. I mean, a lot of games where you were getting above 3, 4, even 5 goals in those games. But you also did touch on the fact that there are certain environmental factors here. Clearly, you guys look good on land, but you ate lunch. Maybe you got a little tired. Who knows? Like, what do you anticipate maybe is something you guys got to focus on when you go to bed, wake up tomorrow, and then try and run it all back again?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be in the mindset in it. Like, we sat down and ate lunch, so we were cool for a little while. We weren't playing, but as long as we stay hot, warm, and ready to play at all times, we should be good. I think we're pretty set right now.
And I want to ask, I guess, just looking forward to tomorrow again, is it still Team Japan that you're looking out the most, or now that you've kind of ran the gambit, you're saying, okay, this team surprised me, maybe we got to focus a little more on that match?
Yeah, I think Team Japan definitely has more higher ranks. I think we're gonna stay focused on them as our main competitor. Everybody else, they're all pretty good about our level, but I think we're pretty comfortable against them.
I'll tell you what, you guys were a lot of fun to watch. Insane Lion, so congratulations, and I'll leave it to Taco to close.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, just want to give you the best of luck, but also give you a chance to shout out anyone before we let you get back to your squad and enjoy the evening.
Oh, shoutouts. I have a big friend group, Coney Dog and Celtic Crusader in chat, and I got my brothers that I was even teaching Rocket League, helping me learn myself. Connor and Alyssa back at home, they're all watching me as well. I got tons of messages from my family.
Excellent. We love seeing the full support, because you always play better when you know you got a bunch of people watching you on the stream.
Yes.
And Insane Lion, GG's, and we'll wish you the best of luck for your group matches tomorrow.
Thanks. I appreciate it, you guys.
Ooh, we love to see it. Pyro, I mean, you'd love to have the support structure with all the players being watched by their friends, family, the wife. You had to get that shout out as well in that previous interview with Olaf. But regardless, I mean, clearly a lot of support, and they're thriving off of it. Team Pacific Islands looks great, but honestly, after that last game, seeing Korea, everyone looking good. There's no pushover squad here. Everyone's going to show up, and luckily we have even more matchups to go through tomorrow.
I mean, we talk about it as much as we can on paper, right? All these teams had to go through their own regional qualifiers to be able to travel and compete here in Tokyo together. And now we can see it in front of our face to say that, okay, yeah, each team that we have here is more than deserving of being at this LAN and competing against the top of the competition. They are bringing a different level of grit, a different level of intra-series improvements and adjustments that keep this dynamic competition so alive and so much fun to watch. So with this just being day one, Taco, I can't wait for day 2.
Yeah, and we did see, as we take a look back kind of at the matches for today on the schedule, I mean, we did have Japan and Korea. That was a sweep, and we did have a then Pacific Islands 4-1ing Japan, and then, of course, we ended with that last sweep. And yet, probably some of the closer sweeps I've seen. A lot of those games, like those series scores, really betray the action we did see. So I'm looking for, hopefully on broadcast, a bit more Game 6s, you know, hopefully a 7 as well, because I know the people watching, yeah, you want to cheer on your fans, but also, you know, you want to see some action. You want to see kind of trace the distance. So also, Pyro, would love to see Alaska. We're just getting deprived of some Alaskan action here.
Come on, Team Alaska. Where are you hiding out there? Why don't you get on stage and play for us? All right, fine. We'll wait for day number 2. We're hearing some great results from y'all, so can't wait to see all the regions represented.
And when we do see them, it will have to be for tomorrow, because that's it here for day 1 of the group stage for the PACAF Esports Championship. So thank you so much. I've been Data Taco. That has been Pyro J. We're going to be back tomorrow. It's going to be 10 a.m. Japan time, JST. So please wake up early and make sure you have your correct time zone logged in if you're watching from somewhere else in the world. It's been a pleasure to bring you day 1. Back for day 2. More group stage action. See you then.